world is changing, and so is the way we power it. From climate targets to rising demand, the pressure is on to build smarter, cleaner, more resilient systems. Welcome to Free Electrons, a global innovation program where visionary startups and leading utilities come together to shape the future of energy. Now in its 9th edition, Free Electrons has reached over 119 countries, catalyzing over 220 pilot projects with total deals exceeding 132 million USD in pilots, in deployments, and in direct investments. Through partnerships with renowned utilities, startups gain unique access to global markets across the Americas, Asia, Europe, and Oceania. Connect with a network of mentors, fellow innovators, and industry leaders committed to supporting growth and redefining the energy landscape. Get ready to innovate, collaborate, and transform. Free Electrons, where energy meets innovation. The future is now.
Woohoo! All right. Hello, good morning. How is everybody? Come on, we haven't started yet. How is everybody? How are you doing? All right. Now, do you feel it? The acoustic? Amazing, right? So we're here at the Australian Chamber Orchestra building, and it's been here only for 3 years, purpose-built, with amazing acoustic phenomena, made out of very noble Australian wood and respecting the whole pier architecture. And you might notice that around this room you have some braille. Some what? It's bullet holes. No, it's braille, actually. And if anybody is familiar with braille or can read it, below here we have a quote from, it's the other side, from Beethoven, and it says, "Kant spoke of the moral law in us and the starry sky above us. What is music? It is a higher revelation than all wisdom and philosophy." So this is what is surrounding us and what is surrounding you. And we are far away, but this is good because there's a safe space here. And no pressure, but this is intimidating. So you will be here, most of you today, putting on a show and starting off day 2 of Free Electrons. So very glad to be here, very glad that you're all here. I hope you're all excited to get this show on the road. There you go. All right. So before we start off, I'd just like to give you a bit of house rules and explain what we'll be doing and about Free Electrons. Now, you're all in Free Electrons, which is really no mean feat. And not because we're biased or anything, but it's the best energy program in the world. Now, I don't say it, well, I do say it, but the reason is, and you can see it in the pictures, then in the numbers. We reach out to startups from all over the world, over 119 countries, over 8 editions. This is the 9th edition. 8 editions. We've done collectively 250 plus pilots. So on average, calculating mentally, that's more than 30 pilots per edition. These pilots, they cost some money. Utilities, they invest in these pilots. They're serious about it. They're committed. They even come to Australia to talk to you to do these pilots. So that's how serious they are. And they've invested so far $16 million to get these pilots up. Deployments having been invested 68 million, 48 million in direct investment as well. That's another stream of Free Electrons. And the declared value of generated value is 132 million. That's just the declared value. So it's an amazing program, an amazing opportunity for both, of course, utility partners, but mostly for startups. Now, the program tackles the big energy transition areas. It's very broad in terms of the subjects and the topics, and you can see it by the diversity of startups and startup solutions that we have. And how is it organized? Well, we start off by you, startups, applying. And you've all applied. I guess you applied with a good application form, with correct information, and enthusiastically had feedback from utilities. And you were selected among 877 startups from around the world. So congratulations. All of you made it to the top 60 to pitch online in March, where the utilities were in Canada, and you were spread out. And you apparently pitched successfully. So well done. because out of the 60, 30 startups, which is you guys, are here in Sydney for the Bootcamp. So really, congratulations for being here, all of you. Well done. Now, 30 out of 800 and something, that's like 4 or 5% chance. That's harder than to getting into Harvard. Now, I know some of you have been in Harvard, good job, but getting into Electrons, now that's something to be proud of. So what happens now? I'll get to the agenda in a bit, but afterwards, 15 of you, of the startups, move on to the next phase, which doesn't mean that the 15 that don't move on won't continue to interact with utilities. Actually, the program has a long history of continuing the relationships that develop in the bootcamp and individually work and develop pilots and eventually deployments. Long history of that. So the next sequence, the next event, the next module is the master module in Hong Kong in July, where 15 of you will be present and follow on the conversations that you start right now. And then the whole cycle ends of the program in October in Ireland. Yeah. There you go, where we have the grand finale. Now, we say the program ends, but the program never ends, because every year we have startups from previous editions that kick off pilots, that actually start engaging or even start deployments years after. Okay, not to get their hopes, I mean, it doesn't take years all the time, but sometimes you continue the relationship. So it's a very ongoing thing, and this cycle ends, but not the relationship. So that's free electrons for you in a nutshell. Congratulations. And this is what you can expect afterwards. So about the agenda. We already had day 1 yesterday. What did we do in the first day? Startups. We had a masterclass, 2, 3, 4, actually. We learned about the Australian ecosystem. We had alumni telling us and sharing their experience. We also talked about some institutions that support activity here in Australia. Oh, you saw the pilot canvas? Yes, of course. And so that was, and we ended up at Sala, where we had a wonderful evening. And actually, serious thing. Honestly, who plays the ocarina? No way! Okay, Sajid. So everybody was looking out for, I mean, I don't know if anybody actually signed this, but what does it sound like?
It sounds like awesome.
Awesome. Okay, you just spiked everybody's curiosity, so thank you for that. Man, that was hard. So we had a wonderful evening last night, and leading into today. Today is all about pitching. And pitching, starting off with reverse pitches from the utilities, so that in 5 minutes they can tell you what their strategy is, what their vision for 2030 is, how their business units work, how innovation functions, what the best way for you to interact with them is, and what they expect of you in this program. 5 minutes, right? It's okay. If you have any questions afterwards, of course, you have conversations, and we can expand on that. Afterwards, we'll have startup pitches. Now, startup pitches are interesting in themselves, but the point here is really for all of you, all of us, to kind of know what we have as potential in the room. For what? For collaboration. And again, Free Electrons has a long history of startup collaboration, and various combinations that are interesting. So after a day, an amazing day of pitches, we'll wrap up and you'll have a free mid-afternoon to evening. That's today. Tomorrow, and I guess you're probably like, oh, I really want to get to tomorrow. You'll get there, don't worry. And tomorrow we'll have the one-on-one meeting. So it's a day fully packed of 30-minute slots for you startups to interact directly on a table and have meaningful conversations with the 7 or the number of meetings you have with utilities. It's going to be that all day. So, yeah, that's the program. But that's what you're here for. So fantastic. At the end of the day, we'll have a startup debrief and eventually getting to a great, great bootcamp dinner where we all collectively share a drink and say hi and party a little bit. On Thursday, the last day, we will continue to have one-on-one meetings. We'll have an amazing possibility to go and have a pylon lookout. If you want to go, go. You should go. If you don't want to, it's optional, but do go, do go. And we end the day mid-afternoon, 4 or 5, with a full debrief, and that's it for the bootcamp. By the time you get there, it's our experience that you're like half, your body's not fully responding, you're tired, you've pitched your startup I don't know how many times, you got into use cases, your brain is, but that's a good sign. That means you engaged with the program, that means you gave it your all, and so, fantastic. That's what we expect you, to be very, very tired on Thursday. Cool? Cool, okay. Now a few house rules about this venue. We are in the Nelson room, and where you came, there's a cloaking area, there's a place where you have coffee, and the catering will be on the other side. I will ask you to, when we go to that area, to use this door. Oh, by the way, it's automatic, so don't try to close it or anything, just touch it slightly. It opens and closes automatically. And why this side? So you have a beautiful view of the bridge. And so we'll have catering on the other side. In case of emergency, all hell will break loose, things will ring, voices will pop up around the room, the staff of the ACO will guide us outside. Basically, we will go out these doors, back where we came from, down the stairs. If it's a huge fire, you can swim, go down the pier. Nothing's going to happen, it's all good, but this is the procedure that you should follow. In case you need any help to navigate these few days, always count on our team. So Martina, Francisca, and Rita are here to help you with any questions, anything on the group, on the app. Whatever you need, we're here for you. Wi-Fi, you don't need it. Do you need it? Do you want it? It's the same as yesterday. Okay, so it's exactly the same. It's on your badge, but you might not need it. If you do, it's here. Finally, house rules, respect the space. This is an amazing, amazing venue. Please wear your badges so we kind of like, what's his name again? What's the startup? So we kind of identify who you are. But also, the staff identifies that you are from the Free Electrons program. Stick to the agenda. We try to keep timing as strict as possible. There are bathrooms, by the way, on both sides, but you can use this one over the left. And no smoking, not even e-cigarettes, inside the building. And photos, take many of them, but just ask if you can post, if you're not showing anything that nobody wants to be seen, just be careful with that. Anyways, promoting the program, fantastic. Promoting your startup, even better, so go with it. Now, you have one source of truth for the whole management of the program, right? It's the app. It's the app. Everybody has the app? Anybody not have the app? Good. Everything is on the app. Anything that changes is on the app. Any question you might have, it's on the app. You can put photos on the app. You can contact people on the app. It's an amazing app. You also have documents to help you navigate the one-on-one meetings. It gets complicated. You don't have a lot of time to go from one to the other, but it's all there. We'll guide you. We'll navigate. We've done it before. We're professionals. We got this. And that's it. This is house rules, but really to introduce you and to welcome you here. Please welcome Joanna Nelson from Origin.
Hello. Oh, it is working. Hello? Great. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Before we get started, I just wanted to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land and water on which we meet on today. Yep. Great. Okay. The Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay respects to their elders past and present. So again, welcome everyone to Sydney and to this amazing venue. So as Manel mentioned already, this is the home of the Australian Chamber Orchestra. And I was just having a look at the website and something struck me, and I don't want to get this wrong, so I'm going to read it. But the way they describe this space is, it's the kind of space that throws the doors of possibility wide open, inviting collaboration, outreach, education, and innovation on a whole new level. So it's as if this was meant to be. Now, before I introduce, which is my job today, our CEO and CFO to the stage, I just wanted to just reflect for a second about why Bootcamp specifically is so important for the host utility. And it's because you get to meet our businesses face to face. Now, the innovation teams at the utilities like to think that we probably do a very good job at screening and having a view on which technologies and business models would be useful, but fundamentally, without the support of the business, it's all, frankly, academic. So if you're from a business unit at Origin, can you stand up for a second? Don't be shy. Yeah, okay, great. So, wonderful. So from an Origin perspective, this is who you're pitching to today and who you'll be meeting with over the next couple of days. So let's make it worthwhile. Now, perhaps more importantly than the support of the business units is the support of senior management. And we're very lucky that over the almost 10 years of the program, both Frank Calabria, our CEO, and Tony Lucas, our CFO, have been very supportive of the program. Now, they wouldn't be if the program didn't deliver value, so it is a virtuous cycle, but nevertheless, we do appreciate their ongoing support. It's very important to both the team and to the program as a whole. So, don't want to waste any more of your time. The main event for the morning, well, not really, but here's, Frank Calabria, our CEO. Thank you.
I'm not sure I need one of those to actually be seen here, but welcome everyone. Welcome to, firstly, Sydney. Welcome to Australia. Welcome to the next stage of Bootcamp for free electrons. Congratulations to everyone that is here today. We're bringing together clearly many utilities around the world that have been on the journey with us, and we've been on the journey with free electrons from the start. Which I think is testimony to the program and what it means to us, but also to those that are collaborators across the energy ecosystem and also to the many startups that have got wonderful ideas. We're all here to have a very lofty goal, and that is to shape the energy future. And we should never lose sight of that because there's no shortage of opportunity and challenge in what is one of the world's great opportunities, but also one of the great challenges that we have to solve over the 21st century. Just a bit on Origin. You may have done a bit of work on that, and welcome to all our Origin colleagues. And you'll get a sense for the people that just stood up there. They come from a wide variety of businesses and functions across the organisation. We like to think of ourselves as an energy transition business. We're the largest retailer in Australia with about 4.5 million customers. We operate power generation right across all of the technologies as Australia embarks from moving from coal to renewables, particularly solar and wind. And many of you will know that we're a very high penetration of solar in this market, and we have to grow other sources of energy, and we have the reliability challenge. A lot of people looked at Australia and that challenge several years ago. I think many of you in Europe are now watching what the data will tell you about what happened in Iberia. We live with that challenge every day as one of the many things that we have to achieve in a decarbonising grid to achieve reliability. So we're operating a lot of power generation. We also operate a large LNG facility where we export gas to Asia, which is their principal source of actually moving away from coal. So it continues to be an asset that's very important to us. But we're also a business that's investing heavily in those new technologies. So we're investing we're putting in about 1.7 gigawatts of large storage. I read the other day that Spain only has 100 megawatts despite being a highly wind penetrated well. We have gigawatts going in, and Origin itself is nearly investing in 2 gigawatts that's under construction. We have the largest wind development that's underway. We have wonderful customers right across electricity, gas, solar, solutions for our business customers, and we're represented by Origin Zero here today as well. And the last thing I'd say is that on Origin, we have invested heavily in data and technology. And one of the things that may not be known to many of you is that we have one of the largest residential virtual power plants. That virtual power plant has well over a gigawatt and about 400,000 devices that we're actually controlling in real time, and has been the source, I think, of a lot of interest around the world as people go on as they embark on that journey. I should say that that has largely at the outset was free electrons was very important in us determining that journey. And if you look at the early stages of that virtual power plant, we have a spike program, we've built the loop system, but a number of our investments have come and our ideas have come from free electrons. The last thing is that we have a large investment we're 23% investment in a company called Octopus in the UK, and we invested in their technology Kraken, and you'll probably know that they're an incredibly rapidly growing organisation, particularly over Europe, but also through their technology globally. So we are a transition business, and we have a large ambition to decarbonise and to actually be at the forefront of that. And that's why free electrons matters to us. Because one of the great enemies to large utilities that are incumbent in their markets is actually not retaining an external perspective as to what's possible, an innovation mindset that permeates, and that collaboration is one of the ways in which you actually make more rapid progress. And I have to say that's been one of the enduring features of free electrons. And I would put that down to the spirit of many of the founding utilities that thought that there was a better way to solve problems more broadly. And for it to continue to be operating after all these years, and for us, E.ON, EDP and others that have been on the journey for many, many years, that's a testament to the way it's been sponsored, because it's also suggesting that you cannot be, and as you would all expect in a disruptive world, you cannot be arrogant enough to know that you have all of those answers within your walls. And quite often that stimulus to us has been through people like you. And if I think back to the investment in Allegro, I think the investment in Spike, I think the investment in Climate Tech Zero, they came from here. And in fact, they're the inspiration currently to a large part for what James Moore and his team are doing in terms of the virtual AI assistant that we're operating through our retail business and implementing. So that's incredibly important, and I would encourage that you continue to think about it in that context. Don't be intimidated by that, because we get as much benefit from learning from all of you and genuinely participating. And that's a great virtue, and it's a great opportunity for us to be here today. And why does that matter more broadly is because I don't need to tell many people in this room, because you've dedicated your lives and your passion. But the global and Australian context for what we need to achieve in the energy system is in fact extraordinary, and I don't think there's a bigger, as I said earlier, opportunity and challenge that we must conquer over this century, and we must shape a new energy system. And I know everyone will be focused on one dimension of that, which is we have to actually move away from existing fuel sources, which is an incredibly hard problem, particularly in Australia, where we have come from a very coal-dominated market, and we have to build entirely new transmission systems that are in nowhere near where the existing energy sources are, and continue to bring customers along on that journey. But we're not shying away from that. So it's an incredibly important one. But the other aspect of this all is a mindset shift. It's not a mindset that needs to just continue to focus on fuels and large assets. It's one that actually must focus on distributed energy systems. It must focus on data, and it must focus with customers at the core. So we fundamentally believe that the energy system is a complete rethink to the way we actually produce what is the most vital, one of the most vital commodities for all of our standards of living, and particularly those that we're lifting out of third world standards to the modern standard, and they have an opportunity before them to also leapfrog, which is incredibly exciting. So I really would encourage you to think about it in that context, and that's why it's so much a mission-driven aspect of what we do every day. And from the outset, I should acknowledge a couple of people here. Cameron Briggs, who I think is at the back, I've just spotted him at the back. I wear a suit, he wears a hoodie, so there you go. He's chosen a side, and I can't change my brand at this stage in my career. But I have seen people, I was talking to Tony, we saw a guy wear a hoodie under a suit, and I did say you better choose a side, but anyway, like that. Or pick a team, probably is better. But Cameron was at the founding thought champion, but also inspiration for us doing it, and been with Origin for many years and has just chosen to take on a new career in startups. But if you get a chance to speak to Cameron, we certainly owe a lot to him for what he's contributed towards this program in terms of his, I'd probably call it spiritual leadership, but also championing that more broadly across the globe, which is no mean feat when you're in a large corporate. And the other person, there's lots of people that make it happen, but there's another person in the back corner there I can see alongside her sister, but there's Amy Van Beek, who you probably all know because there's not a chance that she sits in the introverted profile. So, but Amy makes it all happen for us on a day-to-day basis when we're running around doing many other things in the org, but it does take someone like her with her energy and drive to actually make it happen, and we're delighted to be a host in Sydney and welcome you to this city that we're very proud of. So thank you to Amy over in the back shadows. So I talked about a little bit about Origin, talked a little bit about why free electrons is so important to us. And as you now start the next couple of days, and you've already been on a journey which requires enormous congratulations when there's so much going on in the sector, so that's well deserved. But over the next couple of days, I'd encourage you to be brave, be bold. We are looking at ideas here, and the whole idea is to scale and to give traction to many of your brilliant ideas. And we genuinely weigh ourselves into that. We genuinely weigh into that, and we haven't felt that we had to invent everything from within Origin, and that's a mindset we'd like to continue to forge ahead on. And I'd just encourage you to also be practical, to think about it, to challenge and ask questions, to meet one another and have a wonderful couple of days. I would never want you to lose the ambition, though, that we've got a real opportunity to make a real dent in what's one of the, as I say, one of the most important issues in our lifetime. So that's very much how we think about it as Origin, as we set out our ambition, and we hope that you come on that journey with us as well. So thanks very much, everyone, and I hope you have a wonderful couple of days.
Thanks, Frank. Is this working? Yeah, working. Okay, I'll start by apologising for the weather. I think 2 years ago we held this in June, and it was such brilliant weather. It was literally hot and sunny, and there was a number of people that came up to me afterwards and said they want to move to Sydney. I don't think we'll quite get that number this time around. Okay, you've all flown a long way, halfway around the world. You're sitting in this room, you're jet lagged, and you're going, is this worth my commitment of time? I want you to imagine in 12 months' time, you have a successful pilot, maybe one, maybe more, with one or more of the utilities in this room. You've tweaked your business model, and you're now getting ready to scale. But before we get to that moment, let's talk about today. I was saying over 700, but I think it was 877 startups applied to free electrons in 2025, and you sit in this room, so you were part of a very small group, a very elite group. Now, the utilities don't sit here all high and mighty, as Frank indicated. What we need is you've been identified as the thought leaders, as the people with the expertise, the products, the business models, the solutions that can help transform our industry, and that's why we're all here. So let's start with who I am. I am the CFO of Origin. My name is Tony Lucas. You might think Central Casting got it wrong and pulled out the CFO instead of the innovation guy. But in my previous career, previous role, along with Cameron and a lot of my esteemed colleagues here, I was in charge of setting up Future Energy. And what we were tasked with was going out. We knew the energy industry was going to have a massive transformation. We knew it could get disrupted. And as Frank said, we wanted to be part of that. We wanted to, as Cameron would always say, be on the bus rather than run over by it. And so we sent this team out to go and find those business models, those technologies, those innovations that could really transform our business, and free electrons is really our flagship program for that. But over the course of today and this week and throughout the program, you'll come up against many challenges, but I'll give you three which I think are quite relevant. One is you're not going to have the level of resources that the utilities have, okay? Two is the utilities won't be as agile as you. The innovation teams you meet today will be over the course of the week, will be quite agile. Once you get into the business units, and we've got some from Origin here today, you'll see they'll have day-to-day things that are competing for that time. So that will be a challenge. And then finally, although there's a group of utilities here who all face similar, similar situations and similar things, we all have different markets. And so the way we go to market with some of those things will be different, and that could become quite frustrating for you. But some advice, I'll give you some advice, humble advice really, is to have honest conversations about your capability and what you want to achieve out of a pilot or out of a connection with the utility. The second thing I would suggest is don't be stressed about time. You might not get a pilot away straight away. Now, Cameron and I, back in 2017, I think it was San Francisco, met a company called Ohm Connect. I think it was the first free electrons module. And we loved that product. We loved their business model. It had NPS through the roof. The way it engaged with customers in a distributed world was something that we aspired to. But it didn't quite work in our market. We went away and we thought about this, and then 2 years later, after numerous conversations between Cameron and a company called Ohm Connect, we brought that product to Australia, and we now have that in our business launched at scale. So don't be stressed about time. And then the other thing I would say is to spend time collaborating with the other startups. We were quite surprised, I guess. It was an unexpected surprise. We get as much value out of this program collaborating with the other utilities about the problems that we're trying to solve as we do collaborating with the startup. So I would encourage that. Okay, so now you know you're in the right room. Let me pitch. So why energy? I think Frank highlighted this. Energy is at the core of every economy. It touches everyone's lives. And our customers expect us to deliver that in a seamless way. They don't want to have to think about where their energy is going to come from on a day-to-day basis. And we want to do this energy transition. They want us to do that they want us to do that for them. If you think about our energy systems, they've been developed over 100+ years, right? They're centralized, they're dispatchable, they're pretty static, they're high carbon. What we want to do is to build an energy system beside the old one, an energy system that'll be distributed, it'll be bi-directional, it'll be connected. And yes, it's going to be more volatile, it's going to have more variability, but I believe with the innovation that we have out there and in this room, we can develop the tools and the business models and the solutions to solve that for our customers. If you think about the time it took to build the old energy system, we're also going to do this in a fraction of the time. So that's quite overwhelming in itself. Okay, so why free electrons? There's no other program like free electrons. We connect utilities with startups and startups with customers. We want to take your products, your solutions, your business models to our customers to revolutionize our industry. And it's a minor miracle that free electrons has been running for nearly 10+ years and it's still running. So that is a testament to flexibility and collaboration, because I can tell you now it's not always been smooth sailing, but here we are today. Okay, so now why Origin? I think you'll see that Origin isn't the biggest utility here. By any other stat, someone will have more power generation assets, someone will have more customers, someone will have more distribution assets. I think we are at the forefront of connecting distributed assets into established grids, providing solutions for customers which is seamless and creating value for those customers. If you think about Origin's DNA came from trading. Our goal was, when we first demerged Origin from a materials company called Boral, was to try and trade in the market to connect our customers to the lowest price electrons. So we were spun out of a materials company about 25 years ago. So from an energy perspective, an energy company perspective, we're quite young. we would say that we're also quite agile. Even today, we only produce about half the power that we would sell to our customers. So still today in our DNA, we are trying to connect those electrons, whether from a distributed grid through to the customer at the lowest possible cost. More recently, and Frank highlighted it, we've developed our ability to do that. We now have 1.5 gigawatts of assets on our virtual power plant. We have over 400,000 connected devices, and we do that in a seamless way and create value and products for our customers that they can then just relax, and Origin takes care of that. And then finally, I'd say Origin has a goal to lead the energy transition, and I often ask, what does that really mean? And I think probably the best way to think about that is, what does that mean for a customer? If you imagine the customer in the future, after we've transitioned off this mostly coal-intensive grid, we're going to have a grid that is mostly supplied by renewables with some backup energy, have some batteries. Customers are going to have a lot of distributed assets. They'll have EVs, they'll have heat pumps, they'll have batteries, they'll have solar panels. They want all of that orchestrated with the centralized grid in a seamless way that creates value for them and gives them a low carbon, low cost of energy. And that's what our goal at Origin is. So, in summary, if you choose to partner with Origin or any one of the other utilities in this room, I would encourage you to be realistic and be flexible. I'd encourage you to collaborate with the utilities as well as the startups. And I would say to you, rest assured you're in the right place, because free electrons is the place to be. And in 12 months' time, you could sit there with a successful pilot with one or more of the utilities. You could have tweaked your business model, and you could be ready to scale. And if all of that doesn't come about, I can guarantee you'll make some incredible connections in the next week that will stand you in good stead. So congratulations on being in the room, and welcome to Sydney. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Frank, for the inspiration, the good tips, the context, and really pitching why Origin, is really worthwhile talking to. And I hope that in a year's time, you get an email from several of the startups saying, hey, funny thing, here's what happened. So now we get into the reverse pitch section. Well, we do by order. Let me get on. Utilities will have 5 minutes to pitch. It's going to be very strict on it, well, semi-strict. And we use the system that has been used in the past in free elections very successfully. So I, of course, cannot tell the speaker to stop speaking. That would just be rude, right? You don't do that. So what do? I will stand next to whoever's here and start, getting closer. And once I'm really close and still the message isn't going through, I'll start raising my hand slowly. Now, when I do this, your reaction is to slowly increase your clapping sound until you're clapping all around. So let's try that. The speaker, time is up. No, okay, so we start. Very good. Yay! So in a very nice way, I don't do anything, and you're actually stopping the speaker. So that's the mechanism. And so let's start with the reverse pitches. From CLP, please welcome Brandon. Where is he? Oh, there you are. Welcome.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Okay, so my name is Brendan Joan. I'm from CLP. So I'm joined by Ivan. Do you want to stand up, Ivan? So you run. See, and also Joyce Chan, so thank you. All right, so CLP, a bit about us. So CLP, we're a leading energy provider in the APAC region. These are our brand new offices in Hong Kong. So if you've flown into Hong Kong before, a long time ago, there was a Kai Tak airport. So so the airport's now out in an area called Tung Chung, but we've just built this and moved into it a couple of months ago. So it's right by the old landing strip. So planes would have would have come through our building essentially, and it's right next to the brand new stadium as well. So if you've ever had a chance to come to Hong Kong and gone to the Sevens, they've recently moved to Kai Tak Stadium this year, and it was a pretty fantastic experience. So we are operating across a number of areas in the energy sector, across our whole energy value chain. So we have about 23,000 megawatts of generation from a diverse number of sources. We have about 17,000 kilometres of high voltage lines. So to put that into perspective, if that would take us from Hong Kong to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. So that's quite a distance. So the bulk of that is in Hong Kong, but we've also got transmission in India as well. And to put that into perspective, Hong Kong is a city, and you can just get a sense of how dense that really is with that number of lines all in one city. And we also have over 5 million customer accounts in Hong Kong and Australia as well. Okay, so in Hong Kong, that's our core operations. So we deliver reliable power to over 80% of the customers there. We're vertically integrated. We also operate outside of Hong Kong and mainland China, where we have a generation business. And sorry, I should say that we're in Hong Kong, we also have a non-regulated business as well, providing energy services. And in Australia, we have generation and retail. In India, we have transmission, as well as generation and smart metering businesses. And we have a number of power generation sources in the Southeast Asia region as well. So when we talk about innovation, it really starts from decarbonisation for us. So we put out the Climate Vision 2050 back in 2007, and that was long before sustainability reporting became a thing. Definitely, it was totally voluntary. So we had that vision because we thought that it's the right thing to do. So we put out our climate vision for 2050 with our goals to get to net zero by 2050, and we've recently refreshed that as well. So when we think about innovation, it starts with decarbonisation, and we all know this is why we're here, but essentially it starts with decarbonisation. The grid and the energy system is going to look and feel a lot different, and it's going to require energy sources. It's going to require energy storage, I should say. The grid is going to need to look, be a lot smarter. EVs going to have to come into play to reduce our emissions, and also we need to elevate our customer experience because the system is becoming more customer-centric. At CLP, we have the full suite of innovation capabilities. So we have a research arm where we work with leading universities, predominantly in Hong Kong, also in mainland China and select universities around the world. We have our ecosystems program, which is our open innovation program. That's where Free Electrons fits in. We run technology insights, as well as we have a CVC function as well. Okay, so to sum up, why do we do innovation at CLP? It's really to enhance our core business, to extend into new businesses, as well as explore the new horizon of in a changing energy landscape. And to finish up, why work with CLP? There's a figure on the top right there. We're nearly 125 years old. Now that's pretty scary. We can be proud of that. We can be really proud of that we brought electricity and lighting to the Hong Kong region. But that's really scary because of all that inertia behind us, and that's why we'd like to work with you guys to really change our mindsets. So, as CLP, we are a leading APAC utility. We operate across that whole energy value chain, and would love to talk to you. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you very much. Amazing. Next up, oh, by the way, I forgot to say, we'll keep the questions for the meetings when you have with the utility, so write them up, then ask them everything you have to ask, and more. Next up, we have EDP, and to reverse pitch, Tomás Moreno.
Thank you, Manel. Thank you, Origin, Tom, Frank, Cameron, Suchi, Joanna, Amy. It's always wonderful to come down under. It's a trek, but it's great to be here. So thank you for having us. A couple words about EDP and innovation at EDP, and looking very much forward to this week and to engaging with you for the first time in person. So, what is EDP? EDP is present in 29, going on 30 countries. We're vertically integrated in 3 geographies. That's Portugal, Spain, and Brazil. That means we have generation, distribution, and retail in those geographies. In the remaining geographies, we operate through EDP Renewables, which makes us one of the top 5 largest corporations in wind energy, and we're heavily pushing solar energy as well in these geographies. We have over 13,000 employees, around 9 million customers, and an important data point here is that our energy mix is now over 90% green, and we're aiming to be full green by 2030, hopefully carbon-free by the end of this year. What is our purpose? To accelerate new impactful businesses and promote fast adoption of innovative solutions to lead the energy transition. What does the innovation ecosystem do? We promote fast adoption of innovative solutions. That's you, and that's why we're here, to forward the energy transition, which is the big purpose of Free Electrons, of EDP, and I think of most of the people in this room. So, this slide took us a little bit of time to do because we're trying to encapsulate in one slide the complexity of EDP innovation, which sometimes we ourselves don't understand. But we're here, the innovation team present here, is here to help you, guide you with the interactions with the many business units. So first of all, a couple words about what's here on your right. So commitments. EDP is committing over the triennia 1 billion euros in innovation, 2 billion euros in continuing the digital transition internally. We have over 150 FTEs fully dedicated to innovation. These are mostly in Lisbon, in our global innovation hub, but they're also spread out in our hubs in our various geographies. So that would be São Paulo, Houston, Singapore, and also Madrid in Spain. And as we get to talk about pilots, you'll see that we'll start to direct you to different geographies and different business units. So we'll have business units interacting with you, and with us here today we have David. David, where are you? David made the trek all the way from Lisbon. He's from our distribution business unit, and he'll be meeting with you over the coming days. Myself, Tomás Moreno, and Vasco is here as well. Vasco is on the ecosystem team, and our purpose is to help bridge your activity with the business units. I know that we work on different speeds. At different speeds, we have different objectives, but at the end of the day, what we try to do is forward the transition. Here in the middle, we have basically are areas that the innovation covers. And as you can see, it's everything. We cover the entire value chain. It's divided into 4 platforms covering these 7 domains. The 4 platforms are renewables, so very much wind and solar. Weaker now on hydrogen. If we had spoken 2 or 3 years ago, we'd say we were very heavy on hydrogen. We have grids, which David is from the business unit, but we also have the expert team within innovation. Then we have our storage and flexibility team, of which we have Gonçalo here. I'm not sure if he's in the room. Here he is. Gonçalo is from the storage and flexibility team at EDP. And then we have our client solutions, which covers everything from decarbonization to DER to mobility. And then here on the right, we have our avenues of innovation, so for outward looking, where we have the innovation ecosystem, and that's our team, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a couple seconds. We have our venture capital fund, which has invested in startups for a while, and now it started with seed investments, and now the sweet spot's around 1 million to 5 million, obviously in companies in the energy transition sector, and always having to do with our businesses. So if you do pilot, and if you're raising funds, talk to us, we'll put you in contact with them. They'll definitely be in Hong Kong, and we'll continue this conversation. Internal delivery, it's about blind sides in the market. We are very focused on open innovation. We know you guys are out there. As Tony was saying, we're not arrogant enough to think we can do everything inside. In fact, that would just be silly. But every once in a while, there are areas that we find that we have needs, and those aren't covered by the market. So what we do is we bring multiple players in to try to create a new spin-in or spin-out. And finally, we are our R&D team, which is based in Lisbon and very focused on working with academia and consortia, banking a lot on EC tenders, EC funds. So the innovation ecosystem, our team, our purpose is to foster collaboration and co-creation, that's you, through partnership development with the ecosystem. We partner a lot with corporates in order to find common problems and complementary skills. We source and validate, and we do a lot of that ad hoc, but a great deal of that through our programs. We have programs that are in-house, such as Energy Starter, and then we have programs such as Free Electrons. This, Manel had a similar slide to this, but this is the common process that a startup has with us. The point here is that the objective for us is not pilots, it's rollouts. So at the end of the day, what we want to do is integrate your solution in our business units. Pilots is a way of achieving that. And finally, we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. So here are a couple numbers. We've had over 132 pilots, 42 rollouts, and 25 investments over the years with startups such as yourselves. Thank you very much. I look forward to chatting.
Well done. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that, EDP and Tomas. Next up, we have E.ON, and to present the reverse pitch, Christoph Kortz. Welcome. Green button.
So, good morning, everybody. This is my first reverse pitch. So, please excuse that I'm a little bit nervous. When I prepared for this pitch, I thought about how to do that. And I came to the conclusion, I will tell you the bloody truth. And the first bloody truth is, I have no PowerPoint prepared, because I'm quite lazy, so I don't need this one. The second bloody truth is why we are here. And you heard a lot about innovation and co-creation and all this kind of stuff. But I'm not sure if my boss is in the room. At the end of the year, my boss is asking me what bottom line comes out of this, what we are doing here. And this bottom line is normally a number and a currency. That's why we are here. At the end, we want to do business with you together. And before I come to the next truth, I want to like to ask you 3 questions. And please raise your hands, especially the questions go to the startups. So the first question is, who of you read the documents the utilities shared with you? Okay, that's quite good. Second is, who went then to the E.ON website and went to the investor relations page, and you find the document with facts and figures with 100 pages, and you read it? That's a little bit less. And based on this, who of you then went into detail and had discussions with your team, what the hell can you do with E.ON? That's even more. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not sure how you get more at the certain question. Well, anyway. So, and the bloody truth is I will not tell you what's on this 100-something pages of facts and figures, but I give you a little bit of sneak preview what E.ON is doing. So we have basically 3 main business areas. The first is about energy networks. When I talk about energy networks, it's about DSO. We have no transition lines, but we are one of the biggest DSO operators in Europe. And we have all the problems a DSO has with renewables, integration, and decentral, and all that. And it's basically a regulatory-driven business. So these guys are interested in CapEx, and they don't like OpEx. The second business is the customer retail business. So we sell our customers electricity and gas, and since several years, we try our best to sell them PV, batteries, management of all this kind of stuff. We are not there yet where we want to be. And the third business area is about infrastructure solutions. There we talk about B2B customers, larger industrial customers, and it's about helping them with the industrial process to make them more efficient and more greener. So these are the three main business areas. All the details you can find in these nice slides. So I learned that you startups are interested in what we can do with you. And I would like to give you two examples of startups from the last event here. The first one is a startup called Kestrix. And I learned them, they were in the last Free Electrons program, and they do something with drones. Honestly speaking, I thought, oh no, another drone startup. But then we went into discussions with them, and I learned, okay, there is something special what they do. They can analyze with their drones large city quarters. I haven't heard this story before. That was a little bit a USP. And so the story developed, and we talked to the business units, and we talked to the guys from UK, and we understand they are working with a city called Coventry, and exactly this solution from Kestrix was useful to understand what's going on in the city quarter, what are the houses you can renovate or not. So first impression was, doesn't make any sense, another drone startup, but after discussions, after understanding the USP, we came to an interesting pilot. The second startup is Rondo, explaining their value proposition at a very high level. They have a solution that you use bricks, some kind of bricks, to store heat and with high temperatures. This is very, very interesting for our infrastructure solution business. And we thought at the first moment, hey, that's a perfect match. We can sell that, everything's great. So again, we connected them to the business unit, but we learned, okay, bringing these technologies to customers, that's a different thing. And we're honestly still on the way. We have interesting discussions with customers in Rondo, but it takes a little bit. So the message is, I don't know where it will end up, what we're doing here. I can't tell you how long it takes. It can be fast, it can be slow. We will see. And we are open to do everything with you. We can partner with you. We can buy your product. We can sell your product. We can do a joint venture. Or maybe we do a strategic investment. Whatever is the best solution to make money at the end together, that's what we want to do with you. So, I'm looking forward to the one-on-one discussions with you. I would like to understand your USP. That's what I need to go to the business units to understand, is there a perfect fit? And for this, we have several people here. We have some people here from the innovation team. So it's Samuel, Elia, Stefan. We have guys from the business here. It's Jose and Daniel will also join us. So we are well prepared. Looking forward to discuss with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Well done. Good. You don't need PowerPoints. And in fact, next thing we're almost going to do it here, next run up. So next utility, I was going to say startup, ESB. And to present, we have Donald Fellham. Here he is. What slides?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm not as organized as Christoph. I definitely need slides. They're not for you. They're for me. They're to keep me on track so that I remember what I'm supposed to be talking about, because I like having microphones and I like talking. I'm going to tell you straight up, right? Frank spoke earlier with the importance of being humble, and I think I might as well come out with the humble bit. We are the smallest of the utilities here today. I don't want that to make you think that we are not important, because every man in our company will tell you size doesn't matter. It's what you do with it that matters. And let me tell you what it is that we do with it. First of all, we are a vertically integrated utility, as most of the utilities here are today. Our networks business has about 200,000 kilometers of network. Because of the way housing is built in Ireland, it's a bit all over the place. In fact, if you were to put all of our networks end to end, it wouldn't work. We are the utility, the networks utility in both the Republic of Ireland and the North of Ireland through networks, Northern Ireland Electricity Networks and ESB networks in the south. I look at this slide with a bit of pride because I've worked in every part of this in the last 39 years, except the Electric Ireland piece. For some strange reason, every chief executive since I've joined the company thought there should be distance between me and paying customers. You can figure that out. We have about 2 million plus we have about 2 million plus customers. I think about 1 million or so retail customers, as in people who pay for the electricity. But of course, all of the network's customers, everybody who is connected, we consider them to be a customer. We have a footprint in Ireland and in the UK. In the UK, we have generation, we have supply, we have a small, what was effectively a startup company in the UK called Stuart Energy, and they were very impressive, and we bought them. And I would like to say they're less impressive now, but that's not true. It's just that when a utility gets involved, it's very difficult for us not to interfere with the way a startup works. But we've tried really, really hard to make sure we give startups the freedom to operate. Our business is shortly going to be celebrating its 100th year, which is, in Irish terms, that's pretty old. But it's a bit like a broom or a mop where you've had the handle replaced 5 times and the head replaced 15 times. We're not really 100 years old. There's bits of us that are, but mostly we're new. And we keep reinventing ourselves every so often. And we're here as part of the Free Electrons business because we think one of the best ways of reinventing ourselves and learning how to reinvent ourselves is to connect to startup companies. And we have connected with a lot of startup companies. In fact, from last year alone, we have 8 pilots operating. So when I say it's what you do with it rather than the size, like we are quite nimble. And you'll see 4 of these pilots are being led by our networks business unit, 2 by our generation business unit, and then 1 by our engineering and 1 by our customer solutions, our retail side. So we have all parts of the business really are anxious to get involved in this and are very, very active in this space. This is the slides that we show people, we show investors, you know, the priority, the vision and that of the company. The vision, which is the same as the vision we had 100 years ago, is to, you know, lighten the burden for our people and for our country. But the key pieces are here, the 3 structures upon which our company is based, which is to decarbonize electricity, to make our networks more resilient and to engage our customers. And when we look at the startups that are here, we've broken them down into like 10, 12, and 8. So you all fit within our map someplace, which is why we are very, very interested in you. Representing us here today, we have the man who, when the paternity test for Free Electrons is done, will be proven to be one of the fathers, is John McKiernan. You've seen him here every year for the past 9 years. Still. Don't applaud because Manuel will be out to do his Elon Musk impersonation. Myself as the head of corporate innovation, Saoirse, the person who has made it possible for us to be here today. She has done the work quite literally of 2 people. And thank you. And Kieran, who is the manager of innovation in our networks business, absolutely without question the most involved part of our business in innovation. That's me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you very much. I love the Irish. Next up, we have Hydro-Québec. And to tell us all about Hydro-Québec, we have Maxime Gaudin. There you go.
Thanks, Manuel. Thanks, everyone. Happy to be here with you. I'm joined by my colleagues who will please stand up. Sylvain Labonté, Hugues Fortin, and Samuel Gagnon. So we are here to meet you, meet the startups, and have discussions, interesting discussions about what we can do together. So let me show you. No. Yeah. ESB. We love ESB. All right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. The red one was more visible. Okay, so bits and pieces about Hydro-Québec. I won't go through everything out there, but what I want you to know is that Hydro-Québec comes from abundance. Okay, that's where we come from. We have the largest province in Canada as a territory, and we've developed hydroelectric resources that we have and that are very abundant, which enables us to have the cheapest, lowest price, I should say, electricity in North America. So that price there that you see on the bottom, that's equivalent to 5.15 euro cents per kilowatt hour. That's one of the key things that shapes, say, our context. We have so much energy that people heat their houses with electric resistive heating in like 80% of cases, so that's also part of our context. We own, operate, manage an extensive transmission network, an extensive fleet of hydroelectric dams, and we also have 4.6 million customers. So that just gives you, in a nutshell, who we are. You might say this is a good position to be in because we're already, almost 100% renewable. Yes, it's true, but by 2050 we need to double the size of electric generation. And a couple years ago, we decided on this action plan where we have given ourselves 5 priorities. The first 3 ones there are priorities where we see that startups can help us. You can help us to improve service quality. You can help us to help customers make better use of electricity. However, we have this very low price signal context that you need to take into consideration. And you can help us to increase power generation efficiently. Generation also entails increasing transmission and distribution capacity. And all of this, to get there, we need to become an agile, innovative, and transparent organization. And being part of Free Electrons for us supports this goal as well. And you, as startups, will also help us to bring agility in our processes. Where are we going to get this growth from? By 2035, there's hydroelectricity. As I said, the potential is mostly tapped out, except for a few power dams that we can still build, and some improvements in the existing fleet that we have. So 4.2 gigawatt are expected by 2035 from that. 10 more gigawatt will come from wind power. Huge farms, very high towers. And the third leg of this is 3.5 gigawatt from customers. And when I say customers, that means solar generation, distributed generation, and that also means increasing or making better use of electricity, so energy savings, basically. How are we structured innovation-wise? There is a huge research center, about 500 people working there. Sylvain, Hugues, and myself are part of this team. And Samuel represents the applied innovation team that you see there to make sure that everything is transferred, because ultimately what we want is to cover the whole spectrum of innovation maturity, of technological maturity. And we want to do it in partnership. So we partner with academia, we partner with industries, and we partner with startups more and more. And that's why we're here with you this week. Some of our challenges where you can help us. You see there the cold climate that we operate in. Digital transformation, but keeping always cybersecurity in mind. IBR and DER integration, those are some of the key challenges that we are looking for you to help us in. Finally, just to give you an idea of what we have done with Free Electrons, in 2023 we've completed 5 pilots, 3 are still ongoing, 5 pilots ongoing from last year's cohort, and this year, well, we're asking you to convince us and come and meet and discuss with us. I'm sure that you will find many benefits of working with Hydro-Québec as a partner and as a utility sponsor for your projects. So thank you very much and have a great week.
Thank you, Maxime. Oops, no, thank you very much. So we're down to the last utility, JERA. And to tell us all about, merci, all about JERA, please welcome Sajid. Slowly, no worries, don't stairs, take care. Sajid!
Thank you. Hello, hello. Am I audible? Yes. Oh, yes. Good morning, Free Electrons. We are so glad to be here among you all today. So here's a quick question before I get started. What do offshore wind, thermal power, batteries, hydrogen, and AI all in common? Okay, I think I lost my line. So I'm going to get started with the presentation. All right. So JERA. JERA was created from TIPCO and Chubo Electrics when they joined force to create the largest power producer. We do everything from LNG importing to 60 watts, operating 61 gigawatts of thermal power, produced by 26 power plants across Japan. We don't do retail. We don't deal directly with the end users. Basically, we don't even also operate any kind of power grids. These are all handled by third parties. Speaking of the size, we are big. We are not just big in Japan. We are global. We have assets across Asia, Middle East, Europe, and North America. Our business heavily relies on thermal power. Thus, net zero is not just a slogan for us. It's a vision that we have to achieve. We must achieve. We are investing heavily in renewables, in thermal, in hydrogen, and basically, if it helps the planet, and keeps the lights on, we are interested. All right. So these are the JERA strategic focus on areas. Basically, this is the map that shows our energy chain. It starts from like natural gas, renewables, to ammonia and clean power. These are all not our priorities. What's inside these red boxes is from blue and green ammonia to wind offshore, PV, and hydrogen, cracking ammonia. All these building blocks takes to zero-emission thermal power. Those are all, not all, most of them are connected and relies on digital techs. So basically our transformation is both green and digital. So here is what JERA, ICT, and ventures do. We have come with 3 investment themes. They are robotic systems, AI, smart plants, and clean techs. There are a wide spectrum of applications. Some of them is autonomous inspection drones, energy demand forecasting, and the list is long. So regarding to our innovation approach, it's a simple 3-step approach where it's invest. JERA Ventures basically initiate the first contact and pack the labs and the startups. Secondly, collaboration, in which we build a collaboration platform, introducing your team to ours, namely digital innovation team, that's my team, and relevant business units at JERA. Lastly, synergy, in which your solution meets JERA scale to build a real-world deployable solution. So why partners with JERA? Basically because we don't just invest and walk away. We walk the path with you. We introduce you to the Japanese market, and I must say it's tough if you are on your own, but we know the system, we can guide you through. Secondly, we can be your operational guide, basically, we test, we scale, we refine your solution using real assets. And lastly, we help you to demonstrate your value, not at a lab, but at scale. I think the message that I would like to make here is that we are your growth partners with boots on the ground and eyes on the summit. So to learn more about, back again to my very first question that messed up the whole presentation for me today. What connects all these energy buzzwords? I'm pretty sure whatever answer you have in mind is correct. But for me, it's us, right? It is this amazing platform community that we call Free Electrons, where people like you and us work together, collaborate on solving real energy challenges. To learn more about JERA, you can access those websites. One last thing to remember us, like let's leave a positive beat here. We are a serious energy utility, but we are also a bit of anime. We have created this JERA anime, JERA manga, where JERA's heroes, superheroes, save the world from the darkness. You can find it on JERA's Ventures website. Yes. So that was me. I still have a lot of things actually to talk about. Now, I'm not very good at talking in front of people, but maybe one-on-one. That was me, Sajid Akram, from JERA ICT Digital Innovation, and I'm here today with my colleague, Ota-san, from the Strategic Business Development. And we both are very keen and excited to meet you all and listen to your stories too. Before I step down, I would like to take some selfies. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks. I think it even worked better at the end, so well done, well done. So that brings us to the end of the reverse pitch section and segues into the startup pitches. Now, the startups will have a Q&A moment after their pitch, so please, while they're pitching for 4 minutes, think of questions you'll be asking in the next 3. And I'm here talking to everyone. So startups, utilities, of course, and BUs, feel free. This is really a moment to dig into more of what the startups are doing, their solutions, and essentially how amazing they are. Rules of the game are simple. Let's just try it out again. All right. This does have amazing acoustics, so fantastic. So let's start now with the first startup, Acculon, which is redefining energy storage with advanced sodium-ion and lithium-ion battery systems, offering a greener alternative to conventional lead-acid technology. And to tell us all about it, Tony Spath. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. There we go. All right, I'm Tony Spath with Acculon Energy. I head up the business development function at Acculon. With me in Sydney, we have our Director of Engineering, David Ginder. So Acculon is based in Columbus, Ohio. We are a battery pack and module manufacturer. So if you see on the image here, we do everything basically on the right-hand side, and we're delivering it to customers on the left-hand side. We do not make the battery cells. Just want to stress that right now. We partner with a variety of suppliers, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, to really create optimized solutions, and we are chemistry agnostic. So our expertise is really in systems engineering when it comes to battery products. Our focus is to optimize on safety, so no risk of thermal runaway, and then also for large-scale manufacturing. So we have 2 gigawatt hours of manufacturing capacity in the US. And one of the things that's kind of unique about us is that we actually own and operate our own battery cell testing lab. So part of Acculon, and it started before Acculon. It's been in operation for 15 years, and we're using the data from that battery testing lab to inform the cell suppliers that we work with. So we have a network of partners from China, the United States, India, Taiwan, a number of different countries. And that data is actually being funneled into our own proprietary battery management system that's all built in-house. We have a fair amount of traction in markets outside of the stationary world right now and outside of utilities. We're doing stuff with a large commercial equipment manufacturer called Genie, and that is kind of paving the way for us to transition to other markets. So it's the same module design and architecture that we're delivering for Genie can be made for stationary, and it's the same manufacturing lines. So why are we interested in getting into the stationary market? Well, this slide I don't really need to talk too much about for this particular audience, but I think this one, I don't know if too many folks really understand here. There's been a lot of capital deployed specifically focused on new battery technologies. In order to really commercialize those, you need to have a broad suite of know-how, especially around systems, engineering, and expertise to bring those to market. And right now, everything on the battery side largely is the same. It's different types of lithium-ion technologies put in a 20-foot container. Was initially NMC, has now transitioned over to lithium iron phosphate. And we think what's next is sodium ion. And why do we think sodium ion is attractive? The big thing is it's very abundant. And then, quite frankly, you can make the cells on the same manufacturing lines as lithium ion. So this week with the utilities, we want to talk specifically around sodium ion solutions we're bringing to market, focused primarily on 2 applications. So one of those would be behind the meter sodium ion technologies. Right now, most of that is LFP. And not to say that LFP isn't a good solution, but the reality is most of the LFP is focused on just dollars per kWh, an important metric, but when you're looking to actually value stack, dollar per kW is something that should be considered as well, especially if you have tariffs that have demand charges associated with them. And that's when the price is up here. These are all cell-based prices. Right now, sodium ion's already pretty competitive on a dollar per kWh space. We expect it to be lower in the future. And I see I'm out of time, so I'll pause there and answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Tony. Are we open for questions? Yep.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. For sodium ion, your CNI solutions are currently in what range of power and capacity?
Sorry, I missed
in power and capacity for CNI. So if I was to buy a sodium battery for you, behind the meter, we're talking roughly how many kilowatt hours per?
Yeah, so from an energy capacity standpoint, there's different variants of sodium ion technology, and the one that we're choosing for behind the meter typically has about a 80% to 2/3 the energy capacity of LFP as comparison. But from a power density standpoint, it's essentially 2x. So you're getting, it depends on the application, but there's trade-offs that you see.
On the energy density, a bit more on the product itself. So if I was to buy a battery, it's 100 kilowatt hour, 250.
Yeah, so the beauty of what we're doing is, in the most simplistic way, we make modules. You can just stack them up to whatever energy density, energy capacity you want, whatever voltage range you want. Our BMS is capable across, right now, low voltage, 48 volts, up to 1500 volts. So, yeah, sorry, didn't understand
quite
initially.
Flexible. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Tony. What would you say is the unique selling proposition that you have? Because there's many companies acting in the same space. Is it the management system,
Yeah, the BMS is a big piece of it because, frankly, most energy storage products right now, it's a lot of me too. And depending on where you are geographically and what markets you're targeting, there's a push for certainly North American or non-China battery management systems, and there isn't a whole lot of options out there. So that's a piece of it. I think we're one of the first to market with sodium at a large scale. So that's something that's also, and honestly, we're doing it across multiple variants of sodium ion. So there's, because of the testing lab that we have, we are quick to enable fast scale up of new technologies. So that's, I think, one of the big things that differentiate ourselves.
All right. Thank you, Acculon. Thank you, Tony. Thanks, man. Well done. So before we move on to the next pitch, thank you for that, I forgot to mention a few things. So if you really have to go to the bathroom or something, I would ask you to use the door at the back, because these kind of get on stage. And I'm sorry I didn't mention that before. Kind of skipped my mind. And the other point is we have 3 more startup pitches, so we ease into it, and then we have a break. So moving on to our next pitch. Nice slides, Tony. We have Gridbrid and Karina Yamamoto. And Gridbrid streamlines renewable project feasibility studies with its simulation and optimization software, reducing development time from weeks to hours, maybe minutes. Karina, welcome. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Excited to meet each one of you later. My name is Karina. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Gridbrid. Essentially, the only software you need to build, to plan, develop, and optimize the operations for profitable power plants. We have served more than 30 industry leaders, including Tesla and AFRY, across their feasibility assessments, their due diligence, and procurement for new and existing power plants in 19 countries across North America, Europe, and Asia. So you probably have either felt the problem yourself, or you've seen your teams struggling through the process of developing power plants. And that's because the market is very complex. So to do that, you usually have to stack 7 to 10 different softwares and handmade solutions to really come up with how, where, and what would be the best power plant for you to develop and why. So essentially, that's what we do. With Gridbrid, we unify the technical, financial, and economic modeling across renewable, non-renewable, and storage assets in one collaborative platform. So you have a single source of truth of all the different possibilities that you could build and why. So essentially, as mentioned, we try to help to develop the power plants faster, but not just that. We're all about helping you to make data-driven decisions. So we try to automate as much as the process as possible across market rules with embedded data for market forecasts. So at the end of it, you not just have a way to compare different technologies, share of different technologies across different locations, but you can also do different sensitivity analysis depending on how you think the market is going to go, and not just do better decisions on the planning stage, but also have a better way to compare different quotes from suppliers, all the way to operating from energy dispatchment to not just on the energy market, but also in the ancillary market. So right now, we're helping companies on the planning and optimizing with simulation and optimizations of power plants, not just of new power plants, but also existing power plants, as well as a marketplace to build, so you can compare supplier quotes as well as data, so you can make better operational decisions once the power plant is up and running. So I've learned a lot from you guys from the past few days, so those things might be a little bit outdated from what I'm going to say. but we are a pretty holistic solution, so there are multiple different use cases depending on your need. But here are some of the proposals that we have. For our origin, we help you to facilitate the acceleration of deploying renewable energy assets, especially if you're acquiring assets and you want to make sure that it would be a profitable investment across the multiple years of operation with different sensitivity analysis and different market scenarios. We can help CLP as well to make development decisions and help it to scale with confidence across your growth markets, especially in Asia and Europe. For Hydro-Québec, we can help you to make advanced modeling for remote mini-grids, as well as hybridize existing assets across hydro, batteries, and many other technologies. For JERA, we can help you to scale confidently, not just across Asia, but all over the world, with better strategies to dispatch your energy at higher profits, as well as helping ESB to accelerate and streamline your procurement process so you can make better decisions, not just on the quotes of suppliers, but have a better way to quantify how using different suppliers affects the profitability of our power plant. And for E.ON, we would be happy to help you to digitalize your existing infrastructure so you have the profitability profile and you can easily compare the profitability of all your assets within your portfolio, as well as EDP to help you to grow in your growing markets in Japan, India, Korea, and many others across the world. So I'm really excited to work with each of you and happy to answer any questions.
Well, we can start with a few questions right now.
One per person coming.
One per person coming.
I'm not the technical person, so if you guys have any technical questions, geeking questions about the modeling, the simulation, so Eva is here to answer your questions.
Go ahead, tell us a little bit about the simulation and accuracy and so on.
Yeah, sure. So at the core of Gridbrid, you have a power plant model and a financial model that is overlaid with it. So that's really what makes Gridbrid special. We describe the power plant in terms of many parameters, technical parameters, and also economic parameters. So by merging these two layers, we automate all the initial modeling of revenues, degradation, generation, penalties that you can have on different PPAs or merchant markets. And once you have your model of power plant, you can turn this into an automated RFQ, a request for quotation, that you can automatically issue to a list of contractors that we have. So in fact, we've really simplified the whole complexity of designing and procuring a power plant or an electrical vehicle station or hydrogen generation facility, for instance.
I think there was a question there. Yeah.
Just one question on how easy it is to tailor it across geographies. With different utilities, you will have different transmission infrastructure, land disturbance implications, that sort of thing. How easily can it be tailored for different geographies?
Yeah, we integrate already a number of market rules, especially for developed markets in Europe, in Australia and Japan specifically, also as well in the US. These are already ready out of the box. And for new geographies, usually it's just adding flavors of existing markets. And so we can fine tune. Imagine, for example, that you have a project in Singapore. We already have data for Singapore, and we can just fine tune the market rules to meet the ancillary service markets in Singapore, for instance. And you can have a solar plus battery power plant that is optimized to maximize your revenues or reduce the CO2 emissions in the geography of Singapore. That's a matter of fine-tuning. It would take us probably a few days of discussions with your team to adapt to a new market.
But you can also use it off the box, but you'd have to go into the advanced settings so you can add the specific market rules that you'd like to simulate and optimize.
That's it. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well done. Merci. Thanks. Amazing. And now for our third pitch, Circadian Technologies, which converts telecom towers into dynamic energy assets, managing them as virtual power plants to optimize grid flexibility. We needed you guys a few weeks ago in Portugal because the comms went down and it was terrible. So Mike Rosenberg, tell us everything we need to know.
Thanks very much. So if this is the decade of energy storage, then 2025 is the year of resilience. Spain and Portugal last month, Cyclone Alfred in Australia in March, Storm Eowyn in Ireland in January. Telecoms and energy can no longer be silos. And telcos, with their millions of underutilized grid connections, can offer unprecedented flexibility to help us meet our solar and wind targets. So across the free electrons markets, properly dimensioned, these behind-the-meter backup batteries can be monetized and offer 22 gigawatts of flexible capacity. Now, the value prop for telcos is similar to Resi and C&I. We aggregate these, we achieve savings with time of use optimization, peak shaving, and then we monetize with ancillary and other services. And we offer strategic growth revenue for these telcos. Now, how this works is telcos are unique in cybersecurity requirements. They always need backup. So we feed in weather-based outage prediction into our middleware VPP. We provide edge GSM-based controllers to overcome cybersecurity. And we partner with market access and trading players like Free Electrons alumni, Gridbeyond, to monetize these. And why Circadian? So telecoms are also different because these sites don't have energy management systems. They're usually not bidirectional. So we're working with legacy power equipment, and we have the experience from our work in emerging markets integrating with every telecom rectifier on the market and know how to control these systems uniquely. Now, what we want to do with the utilities in this room is go to market together. So what we've found is that groups like Deutsche Telekom that we're working with, they're early on in their upgrade of lithium batteries. Many sites still have lead acid across Europe, across the world. And this is the moment where we can co-develop business cases where the telcos can have over-dimensioned behind-the-meter cabinets that match their grid capacity and achieve rapid payback while enabling the kind of 12-hour backup that regulators are increasingly pushing for instance, in Australia. And for the utilities, these sites can provide unique benefits because of their hyper-distribution, right? So 580,000 towers in Europe, for instance, 15,000 here in Australia, and we can provide local voltage and frequency support, local grid services. And we're starting to pilot this, we're starting to investigate this with ESB, with their telecom tower division, and would love questions.
Well done. Questions? Raise your hand, get the mic, put it out there.
Hi, thank you for the presentation. How many towers do you currently aggregate?
So we manage 300 towers in emerging markets where we're controlling behind-the-meter storage, microgrid kind of sites. And with Deutsche Telekom, so they have 20,000 ground mount towers that we're targeting, and we're currently mapping out our launch pilot with them. So for Deutsche Telekom, they typically have 10 to 20 kilowatt hours. The real constraint for telcos is civil engineering, so we need to stick within that cabinet form factor. We can't put hundreds of kilowatts, but that matches their kind of grid capacity. So it's changing their mindset from sort of 5 kilowatt hours back up to 20 or 60.
So you're also helping them not just on the aggregation part, but also on replacing hardware for new lithium-ion installations.
Yeah, and this is the thing, is we're at an inflection point with battery pricing too. So tier 1 OEM pricing we're seeing is $65 per kilowatt hour. The business case is clear for lead acid replacement. It's time to celebrate that sunsetting, put this in, and either they finance it or our partners finance it, but we model this rapid payback from that new lithium adoption. So it's heading anyway. We just want to accelerate that upgrade process.
Thank you.
Hi, Cameron Briggs from Origin Energy. Curious, if someone was to really push you, where do you think you most comfortably play? Are you happier sort of coordinating and managing the asset in terms of the asset and the connectivity up to other people who then access and monetize that in markets? Or is that really what you want to do yourself?
So when we speak with investors, very long term, it might make sense that we develop trading strategies. But actually, we see our value in this middleware space where we always need to maintain resilience, take some of these towers off of our VPP platform, and integrate with so many heterogeneous assets. And we see a lot of expertise currently with market access players and energy traders that we can plug onto their larger VPPs.
Very quick follow-on. Do you then, is your business model more about holding those assets, or do you want to actually take some market risk as well and share in the revenue that's created?
Yeah, so this is the thing is that, some telcos have battery relationships. Other ones, they put these lead-acid batteries in 10 years ago. They're not going to the industry events. They're not plugged into this. And so, with our investors, and I should say that we're backed by BayWa RE, one of Europe's largest battery developers, we could take those, we can take those supply chain connections, monetize them as a kind of turnkey cabinet, and share in that risk potentially.
Thank you. Be sure to, on the break, interact over there and ask the question. Okay, we're down to the last startup of this batch, Jua, which leverages AI-powered weather forecasts to optimize energy trading and slash imbalances costs up to 40%. So, Helmut, the stage is yours. Show us Jua.
Thank you so much. Every utility has to trade power. So you operate on the energy markets, on the wholesale markets, not just to your private customers, but also on the wholesale markets. Now, these markets are mostly impacted by weather, which is famously known for explaining the butterfly effect. But let's look at the market and what's happening. The increase of renewable energy shares is leading to a high volatility in the market and the prices. While here, I have quite some normalized numbers ranging from a few negative prices to a bit high prices in megawatt hours. You also see days where you have spikes down to minus 10,000 euros. Yesterday or the day before, we saw 14,000 Australian dollars per megawatt hour. The market dynamics increase as well. Liquidity increases in the market, spreads attract traders, and they use sophisticated methods and tools as well. Now what you see is, or if we connect the dots, volatility is increasing, the market dynamics change. Now what do you need? You need to understand what's going to happen in the next days better than the other market participants. Or you might stand in front of the bus. Now let me give you some examples. German Dunkelflaute. Most of you should know that term. Low wind, low solar, massive energy prices. You see here, 1,000 euro per megawatt hour. Now one might argue that has nothing to do with forecasting, and that's true. There was low production in the market, so prices go up. But let me give another example. There was snow not seen in the Swiss energy system on covering solar panels. That led to an almost blackout in Switzerland that could have been avoided by a proper weather forecasting. Now, what do we do for that? We have trained a large AI end-to-end model, a real AI model, that simulates physical process of the Earth. With that, we can predict the weather with a higher accuracy and faster than every physical model out there. That allows you to decrease your balancing costs, understand market and market movements better, and participate on the markets as actors instead of reactors. But there is more to it than just the weather. We have built an application layer around that helps you to understand the signals in the data set. Just having one better weather model might not answer all of your questions, but understanding what's going on in weather, where forecasting models change and might differ, that helps you to understand which signals are in there. For you asset owners, improving the forecast quality of power predictions, what will you produce, what the market is going to have, is crucial. Up to 20% or 18% here are achievements that we just recently did with one of our partners. Use cases with our customers show that we can reduce balancing costs by 30%. Even more so, we can improve the P&L impact of trading strategies. Just a few examples. With the help of E.ON, we identified a few days, and traders will usually say a few days a year are going to make or break the P&L. And what you see here is how well we would have predicted these major changes that would have impacted your P&L massively. We can skip the part of this, how can we test that? We can discuss it in the one-on-one meetings. Now, scan the QR code, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm here with Marvin, our founder, and he's happy to assist you and answer your questions too.
Thank you, Helmut. We have a few minutes for some questions. So I'm wondering, okay. Wait for the mic, I think.
What's with the voice? Is okay, I think.
No, we got good acoustics. Go ahead.
Thank you. Very interesting. My question is if you have ever tested your solution with another, I know, startup or energy markets, because your customer perhaps are ones, but you can also provide weather services or trading services for other companies that are optimizing grids. So have you ever tested that to combine your solution with grid solutions?
We did not test that yet, but it's definitely something we can elaborate further on.
Okay, great.
You work a lot, you have a lot of data, and your models are, I guess, fine-tuned for Europe. What about other regions and other areas? Do you need a lot of time, a lot of data, a lot of new assets to?
Our model is not fine-tuned for Europe.
Okay.
Our model is fine-tuned for the globe. So it is basically a global model that understands, and you have to understand the entire globe to understand a single region.
Okay.
And so we can predict the weather in the entire globe.
Weather is weather, then.
Yeah.
Okay. One more question.
Sorry, is your AI solution is an AI-based solution, yeah?
It is not an AI-based solution, it is an AI model.
Okay, even better. So we did some testing with AI recently, and it was all fine and dandy, except when it wasn't. And then they said, oh, that's okay, it's just hallucinating, it'll be okay in a little while. So maybe you're right most of the time, but what about the time when it hallucinates and you say, sorry about that, it's just hallucinating, it'll be okay next year?
Yes, that's a very good question, and
thank you.
A very good objection when it comes to AI models. Now, what we have seen, we train our models on petabytes of data. There's 1 petabyte is roughly 1,500 years of MP3 streaming, so you could get an imagination of that. What we've learned in benchmarking exercises is that the model is inherently learning to apply physical principles. That means that even the model sees initial conditions that have never been seen in the training data set, it is still able to predict properly in the future and does not hallucinate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ivan, one last question. We have time before the break.
Are you guys focused on short-term weather forecast or medium-term?
So we are forecasting everything up to 31 days with different ways of forecasting. The shorter term you usually do in a deterministic forecast, and then you build some scenario-based probabilistic forecasting where you go longer out. I mean, everyone in here knows that you most likely cannot really predict the weather after day 15 or day 20. And so here we build more scenarios, but for the shorter term, up to 5 days, we predict with deterministic runs.
Okay, one last question. Go ahead. Go.
So just a short one. Yesterday it was raining here. How will be the weather tomorrow?
Let me check that later, okay? I didn't check it this morning.
Thank you. Helmut, thank you very much. And this ends and wraps up the first grouping that we had with the reverse pitches and the startup pitches. And now we have a break. And we start again at 12. And the break, you can have something to eat and something to drink, some coffee. You go outside this door and to your left at the end. See you in a few minutes. All right? From the break, everybody refreshed? Yes. Caffeinated? Ready for the next batch before lunch? Woo! That was a small woo. That was like over there at the end. You ready? You guys good? Okay, better. So a good thing is talking to some of you, and you were listening in and attentively to the pitches. Well done. And you immediately identified, like, oh yeah, I want to talk to that guy, and this is interesting because her pitch actually is going to be maybe interesting in the future. So this is really a valuable moment, and you don't know what the other startups are going to pitch afterwards. So surprise, surprise, you might actually find future collaborations in the next few pitches. So let's do that. And congratulations, you've been all on time. So I haven't been able to, do the clapping thing, which is really a shame. Let's see if I'm lucky enough this time. But to kick off this batch, please welcome Chloé Durand from Latence Technologies, which provides real-time AI-driven analytics for ultra-low latency networks, supporting critical applications like teleoperation, telemedicine, maybe teleportation soon. We'll see. So here is your mic, Chloé. Let's go.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me well? Yes? Green, not the red one. Okay, thanks. I'll try to remember that. So happy to be here and to see you all again today and to present Latence Tech, our company. So this is what the world looks like without electricity today. Pretty much, right? Pretty boring. But this is also what the world looks like today without connectivity. And the simple reason for that is because, sorry guys, but connectivity is the new electricity. And it's really what powers innovation today. The more we connect devices, the more we rely on the network. And today we're connecting everything. And well, utilities are not, different in that sense. This is why we bring our solution to the table. So a 100% software solution that allows utilities to monitor, forecast, do optimizations, diagnostics on the quality of the network to provide safe and reliable connectivity and network operations. So we can install our software pretty much everywhere on any type of devices, network equipment to really get a full end-to-end visibility. So this way, there's no more being in the dark. What our customers like about our solution is first that it provides real-time analytics, so no more relying on 5 minutes aggregated log, lots of data. We also easy to install, anywhere in the world. So that's why we have people using our technology in Europe, South America, North America, South Africa. Probably maybe soon here as well would be nice. And also we're network agnostic, technology agnostic. So that means that we really work on any type of equipment. So whether you have, Nokia, Ericsson, Huawei, type of equipment, you work on a 5G satellite, Wi-Fi network, we can really monitor anything. So imagine a complete end-to-end visibility in real time to really be able to build a smart and sustainable future with, of course, AI connectivity at the key. So to give you a more concrete example, we can do some real-time monitoring on the teleprotection network. Someone saw my slides before. So this way you can install a QS agent pretty easily anywhere in the network, and this way you get really 100% reliability. Another concrete example could be, power plant network surveillance as well. We're working on a similar project right now in the mining industry. So we can install our agents as well. Different locations really give you full 100% visibility. And of course, it's not our first pilot. We've done this before. We have a team that has extensive experience in developing POCs with success. We've worked with different, key industry players before. So, we've done this a few times. We know it takes time. We know how to be patient sometimes. And we also have, the right team to do this. So we have, founders that are pretty experienced. We also have key advisors that know the industry, know how to work with big players as well. So we're pretty confident about that. And 3 of our team players have previously worked with Hydro-Québec as an example as well. So we know some of the utility challenges. So we're not just focused on telecom or industrial. We're also focused on the energy, which is really important. So basically, we are ready. Our solution is really easy to install, to pilot anywhere in the world. It's light, it's non-intrusive as well on a network. It's secure, because we know this is really important. And it's a mature solution. So we've tested it on over 100 corporate networks. We've done this before. We've went through all the cycles. So we're ready to do this as well, and we have the right team to do it. So we're ready to partner with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe. And we have a few minutes for Q&A, some questions.
So I'm here with my colleague Benoit as well, so we're here to answer some of your questions, if there are any.
Yeah, Ivan.
What are the key drivers for your existing clients that you mentioned, like why they need this kind of solution? If no, then what will happen?
The drivers, so for the adoption of this type of solution, so like being in the dark right now is a big driver. You know, we need data, we need more information, and now there's a lot of new automations that require really low, stable latency. So right now, there's no such tool, you know, that allows industrial companies to really have this full visibility in real time. So before you have tools that could give you, you know, some information here, there, every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, these types of tools have been in the market for a while, but something that can give you this in real time is unfortunately for us, not available yet. So this is one of the main drivers, is really to get this, you know, full visibility from your own perspective. Yeah.
Very interesting. In power system, it's common to connect devices, IoT devices, with electrical protocols, like DMP3, IEC 16104, or something else. So are you ready to connect with electrical protocols in the substations?
Can you re-explain just quickly?
Yeah. When you put an edge device or IoT device in an electrical substation, you need to connect with an SCADA system or a protection system or a control system. So do you manage electrical protocols like DNP3?
No. We manage the connectivity only of those systems in real time, and we can detect in advance. We do prediction of connectivity, and we can detect in advance if there's a degradation in connectivity that will affect the equipment. Okay. That's another unique selling point, is that we measure at the device or at the equipment point of view, not on the network itself. We also do that, but up to the device, up to the managed equipment. And we can just detect that the network connectivity is good or not good or degrading to send alarms and make sure you take action in the right time to make sure that the performance of the equipment remains good. That's what we do.
Okay, thank you.
You wanted to say something else?
Just waiting to see if there was any other questions, but we can talk after.
Yes, we can talk after.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you, Chloe. Brilliant. Next up, we have MindMargin, and Felix will tell us about MindMargin and how it applies advanced weather models and AI to enhance renewable energy trading strategies and market timing. Ready? Yes. Let's go, Felix. The stage is yours. You have a mic. It's a green button. Okay. Green button. Yep. Go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Felix. I'm the founder and CEO of MindMargin. And at MindMargin, we use AI technology to do the weather forecasting and also the power trading. And why the weather forecasting and the power trading are relative, I think Jua just explained for us. Thanks. And MindMargin was founded in 2016 in Beijing, China. And we, at the beginning, we were used to be a weather company. And right now, we are serving over 300 customers in China. But since 2021, we started to use weather technology and AI technology to do the power trading. So right now, we are trading 15 billion kilowatt hour every year. And our prediction accuracy is over 90%. And after using our trading strategy, our customer can achieve 2 to 3 times more profitability than the human traders. Our team are composed by meteorologists, data scientists, and software engineers. And for me, before the starting up, I had been working in Microsoft for 7 years as the program manager for Excel and also the data analytics products. So as for our products and technologies, so as you know, the renewable energy is taking the place. Weather not only affects the supply, but also the demand. Supply-demand determines the market price, and the price is a key to the trading strategy. So that's the whole process of our products, services, and technologies. So for the weather forecasting, we use both physical models and AI models to downscale and to optimize the weather forecasting. As you can see at below, so comparing with the ECMWF, the 9-kilometer resolution, so we can do the 1-kilometer resolution, and not only the high resolution, but also higher accuracy. So comparing with the ECMWF and the NOAA GFS, our RMSE of our wind speed forecasting is much lower than the competitors. So for the wind power forecasting in those tested wind farms, you can see our forecasting outperformed the original ones on most days. So in order to predict the price, not only we need to predict the power for one farm, but actually we need to predict the power for the whole region or the whole country. So as for the regional power forecasting, regional demand or load forecasting, we can reach up to 90% accuracy. And then for the price prediction, it's also above 90% accuracy. So actually, one of the utility CLP already tested our data in China and gave us the feedback. We are one of the best providers in China. So last is the trading strategy. We have done quite a few AI models for the, for example, the spot market trading strategy. So some of the models are based on machine learning, some are based on deep learning, and some are even based on the large language models. So we just try so many different experiments and to find the best models for this market. So in summary, we use AI and AI agent technology through the whole process to achieve like about 2 to 3 times profitability and 10 times efficiency. So in the one-on-one tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, I can show more demos to the utilities. So lastly is some user cases, like the weather cases, the weather, the power forecasting. And also, this is a wind farm. We have the CLP to increase the profitability by 15%. And here is the retailer we helped in China to increase the double the profit 100%. So last but not the least, so we are in China. So our products and technology has been proved in China market. So we are looking forward to expanding globally, but also, China is a huge market. So if you want to come to China, we could also be your partner, be your bridge to the huge market. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you, and we are committed to contribute to a green and a sustainable world. Thank you. Yeah.
Well done. Awesome. So we have a few minutes for some questions. We have one right over here. And go ahead. Yeah, with mic. Thanks.
Hi, great presentation.
Thank you.
So let's suppose I want to increase even more the prediction capability by installing a weather station. So I trust your model, but I want to install a weather station. So this is a focal point of measurement, so you can use this information to be more accurate. Are you able to ingest this kind of information to make your prediction even better?
Again, sorry, which kind of information you mentioned?
Air temperature, wind speed, solar radiation, wind direction, all of that. If I install a weather station there, are you able to ingest these data to improve your model?
Correct. So as you can see, we can do the 1 kilometer prediction, but not only the high resolution, but also about the accuracy. So we not only use the public weather observation data, but also we leverage the observation from our customers, like from the solar farm, from wind farm. So all the data sources are very useful to our prediction.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, I have a question here. At the beginning of your speech, you mentioned Jua. I don't want to ask you what sets you apart from Jua, but what features in Jua that you find it interesting, and what features in MindMargin or MindMargin that you are so proud of?
Yep. So I think we can work with Jua, and actually last night I already talked with Jua to try to work together in China. So actually as you can see, we do end-to-end. We do the weather forecasting from beginning, and the demand and the supply forecasting, price forecasting, and last is we deliver the result for the trading. So actually we connect from the beginning to the end. We know the whole process, how to use the technology, the data in the scenario. So that's our key. So I think Jua can be one of our great partners to give us another great data source. So actually, we already leverage like data source from ECMWF, from NOAA, from like UK, from Japan, and Jua can be another great source for us. So we can leverage the great sources and also the high resolution observations in the local, and to generate the high the resolution and the more accurate forecasting for the scenario for the customer. So that's our key. Yeah.
Interesting.
Thank you.
You spoke earlier about how improving weather forecasting and power trading analysis improve profit margins by 2 or 3 times. Can you give us an example of the exact mechanism of how that came about? Of how, by improving the forecast, profits were able to be increased by 2 to 3 times?
Sorry, I didn't get that clear. Can someone?
Are you able to? So you mentioned earlier that by improving weather forecasting and improving sort of power price forecasting, I presume, for some of your clients, increase profits by 2 to 3 times.
Yes.
Are you able to give an example of how the improvement in weather forecasting and the improvement in price actually translated to increased profits of 2 to 3 times?
Sure. Yeah. So our target is to increase the profit for our customer, and in order to achieve that, we have to do the right strategy for the forward market and also for the spot market. So and it's all about the price. It's all about price prediction. For example, there are two scenarios. One is to do the trading for our generators and also for our retailer, and we need to help them to predict the spot market price maybe in next month or in next week, and then they can decide how to do the forward trading, to do the arbitrage. And another scenario is for battery, because battery need to charge at the lowest price and the discharge at the highest price, and they have to rely on the price prediction to figure out the best charging and discharging timing. So that's another way we can help them to increase the profit.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well done. Good. Right. Right. Next startup, Stuart Energy. Now, Stuart Energy boosts EV charging reliability up to 80% with Stuart Assist, its AI-powered maintenance management tool. Now, to tell us this in detail, Auste Parunka. Here is, for the slides, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and present Stuart Energy. We are targeting issues related with EV charging session failure rates. It's hard to identify what is happening with the charging process because of the complexity of the processes, and it results in high support costs and even not delivered services. So this is why we are creating Stuart Assist. It's a powerful tool solving EV charging problems faster. Not only giving precise information what is happening with EV charging sessions, but also targeting to utilize assets better and saving support cost. Why Stuart and why we are different? So it's a fully agnostic tool able to integrate in existing infrastructure from hardware side and software side as well. We are integrating not only OCPP data, but also different data sets, such as router information, grid information, and many other. Solution is applicable to different scenarios, starting from support lines to technical engineers and even communication with end users or end clients. We do have a big vision, go from a service tool to an autonomous agent solving or maintaining energy assets, starting from EV charging, adding batteries, and many others. So this is a sneak peek how our solution looks like, and we are able to integrate it in different software management systems. So it's either can work as a chatbot or visualized interface or even customized dashboard. We do have experience with piloting with utilities and DSOs in our region. Some of the pilots are in progress as well. We are a highly experienced team working and having expertise in EV and AI. This is a small amount of our team. We do have some other members as well, and we do have experience from hardware to operations and to software. So this is why we can create very precise solution solving EV charging issues and many more. So thank you. I was very fast, actually.
Thank you. That's great. It's okay because now we have more time for some questions, so we can kick that off right now. With the first hand raised. The second one.
The third one.
You condense everything. Yes.
What kind of problems, yes?
Oh.
Yeah, so it might be different problems, sessions, failure rates, successful session, unsuccessful. I'm not very technical person to be honest, but yeah, there are different standardized procedures and systematic failures that we can identify. Also, we can integrate communication with, through a mobile application with the end user, so not only target OCPP-related data, but also payment issues and some other information, which sometimes it's not so accurate, so aware, the charging point operator is not aware of even happening.
What does an ideal pilot look like for you guys?
Yeah, so thank you for your question.
There you go.
So ideal pilot for us, actually, first of all, we want to go very deep into the problematics that a utility or a potential client is having and to adapt our solution to their needs. Also kind of set up some KPIs that we want to increase as a asset utilization or support cost or some others. And yeah, divide it to the you know, kind of timeline and prove that our solution can be successful.
Right, rock on.
Yeah, so.
Thank you, Asta. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great. Up next, we have TokWise, and Julien Marcenac will tell us that TokWise empowers businesses to optimize their renewable energy assets through an AI-driven trading platform that enhances performance, reduces costs, and unlocks new revenue opportunities. You guys do everything.
Yeah, of course.
Go ahead. Julien, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julien Marcenac. I'm the co-founder of TokWise, and I'm here with Krasimir Kolev, which is my other co-founders. So at TokWise, we help energy market players to buy and sell electricity at the right price and at the right time. And it's a key challenge for utility, right? Because portfolio management is getting more and more complex because you have more intermittent renewable productions into your mix. You see changing energy usage behaviors, PV, etc. increasing market volatility. This creates uncertain capture margin, and this impacts the future growth of the portfolio. To succeed, energy portfolio managers need to design and execute strategies that better synchronize physical assets with multiple markets. The traditional approach, more people, more screen, it doesn't really scale. So we took a scientific approach to renewable energy trading. We built an AI trading agent that can orchestrate strategy across multiple assets and multiple markets, real-time and 24/7. This way, the energy portfolio manager can focus on the high-level strategy, and our agent can focus on its executions. But energy markets are highly dynamic and unpredictable. Therefore, strategy has to be highly adaptive. There is no one single trajectory to go for from A to B. Therefore, our agents need to continuously adjust its strategy. Actually, every minute, it's going to connect data from the client portfolio, from the market, from the grid, from weathers. It will transform those raw data into information that can be used for decision making. And then it will decide what volume, what price, when, what to do with it. And the actions will be either a market order or a dispatch signals that can be used, sent to the physical asset of the portfolio. And what I'm telling you here, it's not theory. It's actively working for a couple of months already. We are working with Encavis, so a pan-European IPP, and for almost 18 months now, we are trading the 100 megawatt portfolio, wind and solar, in Germany. This year we scale the portfolio to 250 megawatts, adding battery and flexible industrial consumptions to create more synergy within the portfolio. And next year, the plan is to scale to 600 megawatts, and they are doing this with our AI trading agent, and there is one analyst behind the screen managing the portfolio and controlling and supervising the system. Encavis is not our only customers. Based on this success, we're also working with other clients in Germany, in France, in Belgium, and in Eastern Europe, where the company is headquartered. There is multiple, let's say, collaboration opportunity we see with you, utility, especially because you all have these common problems, which is a more complex portfolio to handle because of new productions, new consumption behavior. You are on some markets that are extremely volatile and dynamic, and so we are very looking to discuss with you those opportunities that you can see here. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Julien. Well done. Great. We have a few question slots. Scott?
So for the 100 megawatt portfolio, this client, it's utility scale asset. So they have around, I think it's 20 or so assets, so big wind and big solar park. For a client, we are starting in France. The profile is completely different because the base client is PV rooftop. So we'll handle, I think the plan for next year is to have 1,000 of assets within the portfolio, and with the goals to be able to send messages to the various inverters and to be able to control, to avoid negative prices and so on.
Yeah.
I wonder what weather data is your agent using?
What weather data your agent is using? Up to now, then in the future you might have, well.
No, I could say it's a secret recipe, but I mean, it's not. We are, as I think it has been said previously, AI, machine learning, it's also a matter of experimentation. So to get to a model, it's hundreds of experimentation that are done in the background by the team, and we are using, let's say, common data that we actually buy to our weather providers. So it will be mostly wind, solar, temperatures, and so on. Nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy, just a model. And do you worry about transparency and explainability of your models?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, especially in our field, the traders doesn't want a black box. And as from the beginning, we build these solutions with the idea of human in the loop, transparency, and the ability to be able to explain every decision. So the user will have access to a screen that explains exactly what has been the decisions taken by the model.
Okay. Yeah, one more.
So you are trading energy, but you are considering that the grids are dynamic. So in a certain moment, the grid may have a more resistive or more inductive behavior. How are you considering that the grid changes along the time to trade energy flowing through this grid?
I didn't hear you very well.
No, the idea is that the grid is dynamic. It is changing all the time. Maybe more resistive, more capacitive, more inductive. This is normal. How are you considering the grid's changes along the time to trade energy that is flowing through those grids?
So we are capturing information so in Europe, we gather this information from the various TSO and DSO. So it's information which is made public about the situation of the grid. So it's mainly, we are looking at imbalance volume, the various reserve capacity that are going to be activated, and all this kind of information give us a kind of better understanding of the situation of the grid.
But you have a grid model.
So actually at lunchtime, that's a great question to kickstart lunch, right? Thank you. Julien, thank you. Brilliant. Next up, we have Airteam Aerial, which turns drone data into precise 3D building models with its AI-driven photovoltaic planning platform, cutting measurement times by up to 90%. Adrian, how is that possible?
Well, I'm going to explain in a second. Thank you so much. Thanks for having us. Yeah, my name is Adrian. I'm here today with Airteam, but let's not waste any time on introducing myself, but the company and what we do. And we believe that we can empower every utility to make better decisions using drone data, cutting-edge software, and artificial intelligence. And how do we want to do this? First of all, let's take a quick look at the severe challenges that the utilities are facing. And one of them is that the buildings have to be emission-free at one point in order to reach your goals to be net zero by 2030, 2040, 2050, whatever. And it comes with a lot of other challenges that you have, for example, the lack of qualified workers, the efficiency, all that stuff. Let's go into an example. Nowadays, we have the problem that in construction projects, renovation projects, that in solar installation projects, the mass determination is usually still carried out manually, meaning measuring tape, put people on the roof, on site, basically let them measure by laser or even count shingles. Or you just take satellite images, for example. And the problems with it are that it's mostly inefficient. You have several people with manual methods walking around. It's unsafe. People might have to go on the roof in order to get proper data, go somehow on the facade, have to build up a scaffolding, whatever, and it's error prone. And this is the worst if I make a promise to my customer that I cannot keep in the end, and reworks cost millions every year. So let's take a look at what we believe at Airteam. We think that drones and AI represent the fastest and the cheapest method to create digital twins of any kind of assets. We can very fast capture the data, thousands of square meters within minutes. It is safe, no one has to climb anywhere, go on the roof, go on scaffolding, whatever. And it is standardized, meaning the results you will get, they are fully standardized and you can trust on the very accurate data that you get. We've built a platform because, we are not just another drone startup. We use the drones as a tool to get the data, but what we do is basically software. We are a software as a service company. We build a platform where our customers upload the data and then we do all the processing. How does it look? In the end, we first of all create a 3D model generation, which is not the magic, but afterwards our algorithms get in touch. We do semantic interpretation, we do surface interpretation, identification, geometry identification, and a semantic classification. Means out of the 3D model, we in the end create a very scaled and a model that is full of information, meaning that we have every information: what is the dormer, how many vents do I have, where's the chimney, what are my dimensions, what's the inclination, all the data I basically need. And we're integrating with a lot of software, meaning you can use that data, for example, for the solar planning in CAD programs, whatever you want to do in order for the further planning. And then you can also use it, for example, for 3D inspection, meaning if one person was on site, did the drone flight, your engineers, for example, for the inspection don't need to go on site anymore, but they can just work with the 3D data they receive from us. And of course, there are some companies that still like to work with PDF. We could also provide that, but step by step, you can of course also receive fully 3D CAD models, in order to do proper planning. Besides that, we can also combine the inner structure of the building with the outer shell. We're partnering up with a company to do this, and to basically have the full picture of a building. And why AI and drones really benefit utilities? Let's wrap it up. It's increased efficiency, less people working in less time. Standardized data. By the end of tomorrow, we will probably finish our project number 70,000. Which proves we can scale and we can provide standardized data, and it's the ease of use. So everyone can use it. It doesn't have to be a CAD engineer, but it could, for example, be your salesperson. And that's it. Thank you.
Julian. Good. Questions? One right over there at the beginning.
What we can achieve is technically what the technology gives us right now. So the most drones are using GPS, some are RTK, and we can reach 1 to 3 centimeters of accuracy right now with the technology. That's the thing that's limiting us, basically.
Maxime.
Who is your typical customer? Is it a builder?
It's actually a wide range. We have mainly solar installation companies. We started with roofers at one point, carpenters, we have energy consultants, we have housing companies, and increasing basically the portfolio year by year.
Tajid.
It seems to me like you are building the 3D models also from inside out. You showed in the previous slide, I don't know what kind of sensors is that. You use drones to take the information for the buildings from outside, but what is the other devices?
The other device is actually not from us, but it's a partner company, and they do use LiDAR handheld devices, basically.
All right. Those information are provided by the customers, or you yourself collect them?
We do both, but 95% of our customers actually have the drones themselves because we use out-of-shell drones. We don't need any specific drones. They are basically just a tool. We need the images in order to provide the data for our customers.
Thank you.
Cool. Second twinning everything. Adrian, thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Next up, we have Anzen, which is reshaping home climate control with a refrigerant-free solid-state heat pump that improves air quality and lowers energy bills, and actually looks amazing.
Thank you.
So show us.
Well, that's our selling, so
It's all
thank you
yours.
for that. Okay, right. Hi, everyone. I'm Preeti. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Anzen. Today, I'm joined with my CEO and co-founder, Dhruv, and together, we've built the first solid-state heat pump that is here for hard-to-heat homes where current heat pumps are just not the solution. So we all know that, So we all know that heat pumps are integral to the acceleration of decarbonization of residential heating. However, they have severe challenges in its integration. Mainly because they use refrigerants, we have to have these outdoor bulky units, which are not only space intensive, but you also have the problem of high capital cost, installation cost and complexity, therefore reducing uptake, and most importantly, as millions of homes that are currently gas heated transition to electricity, we have the risk of grid overload, and current heat pumps are not as flexible to manage that. So to solve this problem, we've fundamentally changed how a heat pump works by using an age-old technology called thermoelectric heat pumps. So these are essentially semiconductors that pump heat when you power them up, and they're very famous for their precision control, which we want to bring to each and every home around us. So what this means is you've got this very sleek-looking heat pump that takes less than an hour to install. It can be deployed at scale. It's a very simple plug-and-play unit. And most importantly, it has 40% lower capex compared to existing heat pumps. And currently, it's at a COP between 2 to 3. So what this really means to utilities here is it is easy to scale. So at the rate at which you can install them, you've got more number of demand response units that can be very easily managed and controlled. As mentioned, the precision temperature control enables that just reducing the set point by 0.1 to 0.5 degrees, you can enable larger kilowatt hours and gigawatt hours of load relief. And in terms of the other softwares that it comes with, we have a dashboard where you can control how each and every unit performs and works. And the unit is highly modulating because of its fundamental physics, which means you can get it to work anywhere between 200 to 2 kilowatt. So in terms of why Anzen over other competing technologies, beyond the value that it creates to utilities for customers, it's a lot more holistic solution, which can increase the uptake and the decarbonization that we all want to achieve. So ultimately, this is one of the first pilot units that we've installed. We have 3 units that are all CE certified, and these have been clocking initially at a COP of 2. We've now produced advanced versions that have a COP of 2.6, and the upcoming pilots we're looking at clocking of 2.8, which can be very beneficial to the pilots that we're proposing. So in these pilots, we want to essentially look at clubbing in units in flats and in homes where it's hard to use a current heat pump, and mainly look at installation time, lifetime costs, but also the peak demand that we can offload, and the responsiveness in terms of different time of use tariffs and the data analytics that comes from a room level to a home level. So with that, I'd like to thank you all and open to questions.
Thank you, Preeti. Thank you. Open for questions. Yeah.
So I think I abstractly understand the heating part of that. So excuse my ignorance, but how does it cool?
Great question. So thermoelectrics are infamous for their poor cooling efficiencies, but our IP lies in how we actually dissipate the heat, which makes our cooling more efficient compared to existing thermoelectric-based systems. So currently, within the technology, we're offering more of a passive comfort cooling. So we maintain the temperature at anywhere between 18 to 19 degrees. To get it below that and provide air conditioning level cooling, we're looking at a roadmap of about 2 years to do so. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, there was just before.
Sorry, great presentation, Preeti, thank you. 2 questions, one just about the form factor and any limitations on where it can be installed. within the home?
Yeah, great question. So this is one of the units that we have, but we also have a horizontal version of the same. They're not really just, you can't really just turn them around. They're a different form factor. So this helps us to essentially go for very space-limited indoors. You could go for the vertical unit, where the air is actually sucked from the bottom and pushed on the sides. So you're not really disrupting the inherent convection within the room. Whereas in the horizontal unit, it can be placed under window sills, which is again a common way in which flats these days come about as well. So there again, the air is pulled from the bottom, but it's pushed from the top. So again, maintaining the indoor convection cycles.
Okay, I had a second question, but I'll...
Yeah, thank you for the talk or for your presentation. But I'm like, as an engineer, I'm kind of imagining how are you like moving the heat out of the room? Because I mean, when you have a Peltier element, you kind of have a hot surface and a cold surface, but for some, like somehow you need to move the heat out of the room. Like, how are you doing it?
Yeah, so what we do is during installation, we've got two methods. One is we drill two 50 mm holes, which essentially is in the horizontal unit. So that acts as your inlet of the air and the exit for the exhaust side. Whereas we've also got other installation methods in places like these where you don't want to be drilling holes. You can duct it directly to any existing outdoor equipments. Or alternatively, in the vertical unit, we do have methods like you can drill a big 100 mm hole. So it's very flexible, but ultimately you do need an air source from outside.
Thank you.
Very quick question. Is this suitable for all homes, or does it need to have a certain energy efficiency rating in the home for it to work?
Yeah, so this is suitable for all homes, and that's the core of why we want to use the technology, because it can be very easily modulated. So in places where it's pretty airtight and you don't want to essentially heat it up way too much or cause overheating, you've got the ramp down where you can push it down to like 200 watts or so. But in very leaky rooms, we also enable a convection-based system as well as a natural convection, which is a hot plate in the front. So you're preventing the walls from leaking the heat, but you always have the heat in circulation.
Pretty. Thank you very much. That was amazing.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next up we have Enerin, and which is a high-temperature heat pump as well, converting industrial waste heat into temperature up to 200 degrees Celsius with a modular plug-and-play design. And Arna will be telling us all about the technology, solution, and benefits. Stage is yours. Green button. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So, my name is Arne Høeg. I'm the founder and CEO of Enerin. I should have been here with my colleague, our CFO, Henrik, but we're now finalizing the first close of a Series A financing round, and he's working on the second closing of the round now, so very busy. Hope to get it closed really soon. So I'm here to talk about our Høgtemp high-temperature industrial heat pump. So Høgtemp actually means high temperature in Norwegian. So any resemblance to my name, it's, well, a coincidence, yeah? I'll let you admire this beauty. Normally it's insulated, obviously. So industrial heat pumps is a small part of the industrial heating market. That's due to the limitations of conventional heat pumps. They don't really go very high in temperature. They're limited to 150 degrees or so. And then it's just prototypes, yeah, even from the big names. They can't do high temperature lifts. Then you need to couple several of them together. And if the conditions change, well, then they stop working sometimes. So then the big challenge is that there are basically engineered solutions to each individual customer, and that makes it very difficult to roll out. But we are not making conventional heat pumps. So we are making the Høgtemp, and we can go to really high temperatures. We can go to 200 degrees Celsius, and next year, I think I need to go higher, yeah. 250 degrees, that's our target. And we can do very high temperature lifts in one go. So all the way from 20 degrees up to 200 degrees in one step with a decent COP. It's a really flexible solution. So we've seen with one of our installations that the source temperature dropped suddenly by 40 degrees, and we can still maintain the same capacity. The electricity consumption goes up due to the lower COP, but anyway. And we do the same heat pump for all installations. So we can cover the whole range, even from ambient temperatures as low as -30 degrees all the way up to 200 degrees. And it's modular, so if you want more capacity, just add more modules. And therein lies also one of the great benefits. We can mass produce those. We can have a short lead time and implement them as fast as we need to. So the Högtemp is one of the most mature high-temperature industrial heat pumps on the market. We have more than 40,000 hours of real-world operating experience. We have 3 pilots up and running with big names such as General Electric and Pelagia. And we have 3 more in the pipeline. So one of them would be Roche in Switzerland. We'll deliver to Sweden, Denmark. And the unit is CE certified, and we're working on the UL certification for North America. So today, in some markets, we have achieved cost parity with gas boilers. Our aim is to supply the lowest cost heating solution for industry. And we'll do that by increasing the volumes, getting the cost down, improving the performance, but especially making the installation process as smooth as possible. But what is the one thing we need? Power. So we want to work with utilities because all the customers, they need power. They need to have sufficient power to supply to this heat pump. But the heat pump is not just any load. It's a dispatchable load. We can do, let's say, a factor of 2 power consumption in 1 second. And in a few minutes, we can go all the way from minimum capacity to full power. And that means that we can combine with, let's say, the thermal energy storage in the factories. All factories, they have buffering capacity in their tubes and pipes and tanks. And what we want to do now is to partner up with utilities. We want to bring pilots into new markets because in every market, it starts with 1 heat pump, then we do a lot of them. And we want to make energy as a service model that is replicable and deployable across industries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Arna. We have some time for questions for your heat pump Ferrari here. Questions? Yeah.
You mentioned it had a decent COP. Do you have numbers around that?
Yeah. So if you're familiar with the Carnot COP, we achieve a Carnot efficiency of at least 50%, aiming for 55 to 60%. Yeah, so that means, okay, if we lift from 20 to 200, we have a COP of 1.6. That's not the highest COP number you've heard, but it's twice as good as a gas boiler.
You shut everybody up. Boom. Another question. Here's your chance. Yeah. Maybe wait for the mic. Yeah.
Your end customers are the final users, industries or final users, or also utilities? Who is the one that buy your solution?
Well, so far we've sold mostly to, or worked mostly with multinationals. They're really interested in finding the right path for decarbonization. But we are also working with end users directly and doing some direct marketing.
Okay, great.
Got one over there.
High-temperature heat pumps are expensive, and we see a trajectory to take that CapEx cost down per kilowatt. How are you planning to do that?
Well, 2 ways. First, we increase the capacity of each unit within the same envelope. Secondly, well, We design and make all this heat pump ourselves. We source components. So we see a really strong cost reduction curve as we increase the volumes. I mean, buying one crankshaft from a specialist manufacturer, that's expensive. Buying 10 is better. Buying 100, well, then we have a 90% cost reduction.
90?
On the crankshaft, yeah.
Okay. We had one over there, yeah.
What's the expected lifetime of the heat pump?
Indefinitely is the design target. All the wear and tear parts are replaceable. And we've done extensive fatigue testing, extreme temperature cycling, extreme pressure cycling, and so on as part of the certification process. So, I mean, one of our earliest prototypes from back in 1999 is still in operation in a lab somewhere.
Nice, impressive.
If you give a lifetime, I might have a client for you.
Well.
Arne, thank you very much. That was brilliant. Thank you. Fantastic. We have Airloom, the last startup now of this batch. And Neil will tell us how they're pioneering compact horizontal axis wind turbines that simplify installation and slash cost for small-scale wind projects.
Awesome.
Neil, it's working.
Is that on? Okay, great. I'm the last one for this session, so I'm going to make this as entertaining as possible. I'm here to make the case that there is more than one way to generate energy from the wind. I started my career as an F-18 pilot in the US Marines. I spent a lot of time in the Middle East, and it was there that I learned that energy is the key to our security and our prosperity. I went from the Marines to Columbia Business School, and from there to Google and to Google X. At Google X, I made a study of how we generate energy from the wind, and I looked high and low. And we've ended up with 3 blades on a stick. That's what I call horizontal axis wind turbines. Look, it's a good design, but there are many challenges with it. I also know there have been many different kinds of wind turbines pitched over the years, and they all fall into one category or another. They're either voodoo or they violate the laws of physics. Airloom does not. Now, we all know that there's an energy shortfall. Just in the US alone, due to data center growth and electrification, we see a 36 gigawatt shortfall in just the next few years. We built an amazing team. My CTO is Andrew Street. He built satellites for Boeing for about 10 years and then high-performance drones. Troy just came as the CTO of Boom Supersonic. He designed and built the world's first commercial supersonic airliner since the Concorde. But my favorite guy up here is Frank. Frank spent 10 years of his career building horizontal axis wind turbines at an early technology firm. But for the last 25 years, he's been building roller coasters for Disneyland. We have amazing partners. We've got Breakthrough Energy Ventures on the cap table. That's the Bill Gates fund. We've also got Lower Carbon Capital. That is another multi-billion-dollar fund. We also have won an R&D contract from the US Air Force because they're particularly interested in the low profile of a wind generation device that can be low cost, resilient, and it works. Basically, if you imagine those, I don't have time to play the video, but there is a video on our website. If you imagine that those are sails on a sailboat, the wind hits the sail and the sailboat goes laterally across the wind. Those wings are all connected to a belt. The belt gets pulled through a series of off-the-shelf electric generators. It can be low cost because 1, it accesses better physics. 2, the swept area, if a horizontal wind turbine wants to get more swept area, it's got to get bigger. That means everything from the bottom up has to be redesigned. But for Airloom, we just add a little bit more track and 1 more wing. We have mass-produced parts, that's automated manufacturing of low-cost materials like steel and aluminum. We've got lower balance of plant cost. We've got a very simple supply chain that is reactive and resilient. And that leads to a very, very attractive power curve. We cut in at 4 meters per second, which is a full 1 meter per second lower than horizontal wind turbine speeds. And the curve is more vertical. That means we make more wind at lower wind speeds. And that leads to Airloom being some of the lowest cost energy anywhere available. Now, it's true that we are accessing lower heights and therefore lower energy wind. But the argument I'm making is that our system is so low cost, It just doesn't matter. Any generation device is a cost benefit. Our system is low cost, accessing lower wind speeds. But in addition to that, we have other benefits, like where you can put it, how easy it is to deploy, how fast it is to deploy. It is a gigantic market. I don't need to tell this crowd that. We are in the process of building our first commercial demo a couple of years from now. This ideation is a behind-the-meter data center energy infrastructure play. But in addition to that, we have partners who want to deploy these overseas at small islands, on floating platforms, or for disaster relief scenarios. Our path to market, we're in the process. Our groundbreaking for our pilot is now. It's next month. From there, we go into either building a behind-the-meter energy infrastructure for data centers or a microgrid for a military, and then on to utility-scale wind. I would love to do one of these middle projects with some of the folks in this room. In the future, you will never see another 3-bladed wind turbine made ever again. Thank you.
Hua. Nice, well done. Okay. Neil, great. We have some time for some questions. Otherwise, we're going to see the video, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, we talked a lot about this last night already, but I'm interested about what the lifetime of one of your assets is projected to be, and also, I still can't get my head around how you deal with, like a vertical axis turbine can turn into the wind, right? How do you optimize for changing wind direction?
Yeah, so the wings pitch. So first, we're designing the systems to be 30-year assets. There's absolutely no reason why they can't be longer life than that. I rely on Frank primarily for that. He builds roller coasters that are still running 30 years later, and we're going to deploy many of the same technologies there. But in terms of adapting to different wind directions, you wouldn't be surprised to know that if the place is windy enough for wind generation, and that's not here. We wouldn't do it in a place, most people don't live in windy places. People live in places that are comfortable. Wind sites are very windy. Think, average wind speeds of 8 meters per second. That's, 14, 15 miles per hour on average. So nobody wants to live there. Those places are pretty unidirectional in their wind direction, and we can handle winds off axis about 60 degrees. If the wind's blowing 90 off, we're not making power. That's true. Most windy sites are not that.
And what about turbulence when you're so close to the ground?
I'm sorry?
What about turbulence when you're so close to the ground?
Turbulence is a killer. Turbulent wind has no energy in it. In every place, it's different. If you go to a place that has trees, we're going to be high. And that's going to be not a great place for us because then we're going to buy a lot of steel just like a horizontal axis wind turbine does. We'll go to places that are like where we are now, the plains of Wyoming, the central part of Australia. There are lots of places where you only have to be about 10 meters up, maybe as many as 30 meters up to get out of that very turbulent wind. We do need to get out of that, but there's lots of places like that.
Cool. Thanks.
Scott?
Yeah, it's a great question. I failed to mention it. We are actually as energy dense, that's the industry term, meaning more megawatts per square kilometer than a horizontal turbine. It's on the order of solar and a little bit more than wind. So on the order of 10 megawatts per square kilometer. There's a bunch of reasons for that. It has to do with weight turbulence and offsets. There's a picture of that on our website too. But intuitively, you think it's going to be way spread out. And let me be clear, these are likely to be a kilometer long. They are going to be large systems. Our pilot that we're building now is about the size of an Olympic running track. So these are big systems, 20, 30 meters off the ground. They're not toys, but they are dense in energy.
We have time for one more.
Sorry, you have the dynamic torque coming from this round structure, and then an asynchronous generator, and then a frequency inverter connected to the grid. This is the principle.
Yes, I mean, from the pad mount transformer outbound, is it exactly like a wind turbine? It functions as a wind turbine. So it is, it's the same electrical path. We don't have one generator, we have 4. There are, in our current iteration, 4 off-the-shelf 100-kilowatt generators.
Asynchronous?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Neil, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was entertaining. Thank you. Awesome. Congratulations. A big, actually, round of applause for all the startups who pitched so far. Very well. Well done. And now I have a few messages. So we're off for lunch break, and it's going to be the same place we were before. And we'll be back here by 2:05. 2 is good. And I'm counting on everybody to be back and to have this kind of energy and to listen to the rest of the pitches that are going to happen, because I think there's collaborative opportunities right here, as we've seen before. So don't make your way back by 2 after lunch. About lunch, some of you have identified that you have food restrictions, and so behind your badge pass, you have a sticker of, if you do, and so you have a special area where the food will be adequate for your needs. So that's an important point. And at the end of the day, so at the end of these sessions, not the end of the day, but around 5, we'll have a group photo where all of us will be, with a nice background, taken photo, and then we can post on the website and put it out there. So thank you very much. Have a great lunch, and see you here at 2. All right.